Ascent.
Alright, Ascent is banned. And now your turn.
To ban Breeze.
Breeze is banned, and GE is picking the first map.
We pick Pearl.
Pearl is picked, and the side for Pearl, please.
Defense.
Defense. Alright, then your map pick, please.
We pick Fracture.
Fracture. Side for Fracture.
We pick Attack.
Attack. Alright, then we have Haven, Lotus, and Split left. Global Esports banning first.
We ban Haven.
Haven is banned. Last two maps are Lotus and Split.
We ban Lotus.
Lotus is banned, the sider is Split, and GE is picking the side.
Attack.
Attack. Alright, let me give you a quick recap. We start with Pearl, the white on defense, then we have Fracture, GE attacks, then if we have Split, GE attacks again. Everything correct? Alright, think you're good luck guys.
وغدا قاعد يجهز ابغى يخلص بس علشان ما يجوا والله على فطوري من الظهر والله.
Certainly feels like they are. Let's see if our teams are as well. GE to mount the attack, and already numbers towards B for both teams.
Immediate fight for those orbs, of course. We expect to see that quite often with the Phoenix in play, but patiently waiting. 3 players on this side, that double duelist that will be spoken about a lot throughout this series. Sato waiting on that cross. With King alongside him. They're just going to run this straight in onto the fight. Yudoton to start, and Autumn there alongside him. In fact, it's going swimmingly for the side of GE. All 3 players taken out, and the rotation quite far away.
Yeah, a nice attempt to flash back by Sato, but he gets shut down. GE flooding the site, and now blows in Neon. Having a fight back from spawn. The spike already ticking. They have no notion where these attackers can be. The reveal will help for a moment. C1, C2, but then all of the remaining Leviathan players fall to give GE a 1-0 start here on Pearl.
Yeah, and I do. I want to go back to something that was touched on by the desk as well when building into this matchup, where it's like, I think at the beginning of the day, you were asking me who was favored in this matchup. I'd slightly give it over to Leviathan. I think they've been a very strong squad, almost taking down G2 in Americas the second time around. But the fact is, after the veto, I'd now maybe go the other way. I think the fact that obviously G floated Fracture was almost like a ball to a red flag, but I think this first map also favors GE, so it really could be an opportunity for them to 2-0.
Pacific's number 3 certainly seems to have a leg up, not just in the veto, but even starting this map. That said, Leviathan, they've pushed up A as 4. Found the solo player, Crystal, who was supposed to contain. And as a result, there's not really much of a choice but to finish this B hit. The good thing is, though, nobody is here. The site wide open. GE will have themselves a post plan. And now those pistols, with GE having the option to play a bit further back, hold those chokes.
خذ البستل من الباب من اختيار من جلوبال. اوكي احسبها ليفيتان. وقفوا التصويت الشباب.
Major danger in this moment, or maybe not. Blows already finding one. Making this seem dangerous. Patman under pressure as well. The shot's not quite landing, but his teammates are there to support him.
طلقاتك ما توصل مع الاسف بس يلا ما عليه.
Yudotan to try and save them from around. This should have been easy as opponents above
him.
Quite close him out. Any other gun would have denied the Red Bull clutch. But Yudotan just about keeps them alive.
ليش سوى رايت كليك طيب؟ هنا السؤال.
That's it, Tom. Staying alive in a round that should have been an opportunity.
لما سوى هو سوى رايت كليك صح ولا أنا غلطان؟
A 1v2 and a well-placed shot from that headhunter or right-click landing would have changed the story of the start of this map entirely. GE with a lifeline early on. They'll hold on to their lead. But for Leviathan, that tells them that when it comes to pound-for-pound brawls, they might be in with a chance.
Well, yeah, look at the purchase that comes up. You normally expect a little bit more from a bonus round. It's the 3 rifles invested into.
يعني الدولست تبغى نركز على الدولست.
Okay. Brought through, so it definitely gives the defenders a great opportunity.
ركز على
aggressive ground picked up on the B site. They can
اسمه نيون.
Pushing in towards Arlo. And those fights haven't gone their way. It's Crystal to pick up 2 and leave. Blows the lone defender. His teammates sprinting to try and save him, but there is no one to be saved. In fact, The only thing that can be saved, Mitch, is those guns. They have to bow out.
What a crazy switch.
والله نيون يا عيال نيون ما زالت. ايش فيه؟ مني علمتكم النرف ما يفرق، الوال ستيل موجود، السلايد زي ما هو موجود، الطلق مع السلايد موجود، اللهم بسرعتها بس. والشتق النرف. بس ذبحها الشتق النرف مرة، يعني قلل خياراتها من انها تلعب باكي وجج وتسوي جمب. بس سلايد ودك يحذفون انت؟ ايه؟ سألت السؤال قلت ايه؟
Neon only needs to land one shot, and there it is. It's a headshot, clean as can be. You'd think at this point those weapons would be held onto, and it looks like they will.
A very good start. I think also the people may be thinking Neon, and I mean the agent,
yes,
is dead. Might start to question things with the start that Yudotan has had. Just sliding into the angle and absolutely doming.
MIBR
Crystals round. A huge
ليفتان شقوا MIBR ولا يشوفونهم شيء.
Putting them into a 3-0 start. Of course, this is their map choice, but I think that is the big talking point. Is we're going to look at both these squads and go, okay, what have they fixed? It's not a particularly good map for either of them, and if we can see GE get off to a strong start on their own choice, which they are favored on, it almost feels like a 50-50 second map. This, though, is an aggressive hold, but so much information already found out by this attack. A lot of utility being put into play, but Spike has managed to do well.
Have they done enough, though? Sato still needs to get out of there, just about falls back to the B side. Okay, safe as can be. It was a little spooky at the start. Obviously, Chamber can get out for free once challenged, but not revealed behind the wall. And it looked like we could have had a much worse fight on their hands. Leviathan keeping trades like this early on is perfect, keeping control of the rifle, and now the Death Squad goes looking for a victim, push out on mid. Gonna give them an early flank on this A play, but not an opportunity to catch any kills just yet.
Turret will deny any push up, and I actually quite like this. I was going to question whether they'll use the run it back in this round, and that just allows them to clear the site, at least mostly for free. The defenders have already gone for the swing back through. Of course, for Neon, he's now out of headhunter bullets, so his danger should be reduced. It should be reduced, but he still manages to land one with the classic. The low buy rounds are seeming quite damaging for the side of GE, but when you win the last buy round so clean,
الجيم ممتع.
it doesn't matter as much.
كلمة حق الجيم ذا قاعد يعوضنا بملل الجيم الأول.
More of a level playing field. For Leviathan, that's the one thing that the takeaway so far is those eco rounds have been very well structured. Even here, the drone going out, you know that that's going to draw a lot of eyes, probably from the Phoenix as well, but it's combined with that art re-aggression. So everybody's looking towards the spawn, and you can overwhelm with the numbers. Worked out for a couple of kills, but Leviathan chipping away isn't going to work as GE find a 4-0 lead, and the shots don't land right away for Chamber, who is Neon. See how GE handle this.
Just kill. Let's take art. Connect to Salva. Come kill, you have flash.
Spike planted.
No flash. He's droning. And one more boy, Salva boy. If we fight together, kill him. Let's fight together, Salva. Come. Guys, get.
I'm not back. I'm back.
Yes, okay. Can you talk
play with you? You do.
You die OT for you.
You die watch behind you, okay?
They probably saved off, boys.
You are divided.
City, Salva. Aston.
I think they're right. It might just have to be the saving of that operator.
بس إلا تحتياط. Okay.
Into the next round, and for GE, this is a worldie of a start. And that's the thing. Like,
في أيام بعد الجيم لا أنا لما أسوي واتش بارتي ما ألعب.
To try and catch somebody. You go for these fast hits into the A side like that, and they have to react fast enough to try and deny you. 5-0 start on the attack side for GE.
طبعا ما بهم
flying.
The question is, when do we see a timeout now? I mean, it's apparent that when it comes to buy rounds,
ننهلك ما في وقت. رشة البث وحط ديلي. وقد الساعة متى؟
Hasn't been a response from Leviathan. That should all change now as the pause concludes. The barriers go up once more, and hopefully we see a better face from Leviathan. Still with a full buy, there will be a shotgun in play on Spikeson. The bookie still reliable even with the nerfs. And well, Neon is the one drawing my eye, but he's on the other side of the map. GE are putting pressure on B at least to start.
Immediately
يا سلام.
Lockdown utilized King, hoping that
شوف
maybe some
شوف فايدة
straight
كل
shots
جوي.
can connect, but
مو تشامبر
look at the spike.
بس تشامبر اذا طاح بيد واحد ساطي.
Catch out some of the rotations. In fact, they're trying to pincer in on them from behind, catch them where they know they pushed. A good stun though will at least slow things down a little bit. The overdrive used to try and just pad some of that damage, but even still, that opening kill has gone in the other direction. However, Spike's in, has managed a trade.
That's this pressure on the Crystal. It has to go the way of Leviathan. So they had that advantage, at least avoiding it. No punish could be fine. But Crystal now has the option
could go back to
take
B.
that space a little bit later. Heard the Neon running away. Knows the B side is now as well open, but there's going to be a fake from Autumn attempting to mislead this defensive side, and it has worked perfectly. He hasn't even made noise just yet, clearing the A side completely.
والله كسروهم وذبحوهم ووتروهم.
Easier to hit, but finally settled on B, and Autumn is going to go and join them. If he can slip away, it gets a kill as well. GE with a big leg up now.
Well, yeah, that was doubt from Autumn. You saw his teammates stop because they go, well, there's actually no one on
Welcome,
here, so they must be somewhere else. And Autumn is now just the ultimate backstab. Looking to try and group up. Crystal has taken so much space already, and Sato is completely unaware. They are playing them like a fiddle. A team known for these set strats, these setups, even in their retakes, are not being allowed to do so because GE are just playing with their minds. And
والله لعبوا في حسبتهم.
none of those weapons. 6-0. This is beautiful stuff from GE.
I would have rather seen anybody on GE ace that round if I was in
الغدا العشاء اللي هو الغدا العشاء اللي هو خلص ما وصل. بنزل اتعشى او اتغدى او اللي هو باكل وبجيكم تمام. راوندين على السريع. والله الجوع كافر.
He's going to be the one containing one side of a map and showing up when he gets challenged, and instead his sight falls and it ends up being used as a ruse. GE playing a better game, plain and simple, and Leviathan falling miles behind, now even facing an eco as well, or at least a low buy. There are some pieces here, some less now.
Yeah. Oh, dear Lord.
Less now.
The unit on Neon when it's been needed, which hasn't been the whole time, but he is 10-1 right now. Utterly dominating. Well, it's at least not going to be flawless. That's about all that you can hope for on the GE side. And just look at the way they fought back as well. You wouldn't have even been too mad at Javi for sort of going for the swing there, trying to take an extra kill. Like, look at the current scoreline, look at how your team is about, but he doesn't. He doesn't risk it.
There's always elements of confidence that have to be in play, but I love seeing a team that's ahead playing like they're behind. It's exactly why you can see players sometimes having chances pulled out of thin air, and a few more shots in the mag, and that could have been the round. But King 5 HP now. He surely has to go for the save. A nice try, but
I don't think... to the blaze.
yeah, exactly. It's not quite enough to put the win back in Leviathan's sails just yet.
Trying to pull them back in. I like it. They're just throwing a piece or two of utility out to try and do damage, but I think we are well past the point of damage. The credits booming. You're going to have multiple players buying back up with max credits on the side of GE. And it feels like for Leviathan, they need that swing round. They need something to enlighten the flame of this squad, because that's what we've talked about when watching them in Americas, is that flair, that level of aggression, individual brilliance. I think Neon and Sato especially have been highlighted a lot for the fact they can take over rounds. Right now, they are being utterly diffed.
Bro, he turned from the Phoenix Flash. Before he even knew it was coming, he turned from the Phoenix Flash. If you're Leviathan right now, every single thing you do, you feel like your comms are being leaked to GE. Like they know they're ahead of the play every time. They're pushing the right spot, they're pulling the right rotations, and they're punishing every mistake. This attack side looking clean, and that's the orb Autumn was looking for in that last fight of the previous round. He's now got the run it back online again, making what has been an easy attack side that much easier in this round.
Full rotation back across the map. Now there is an implant in play. Neon has pushed out mid, but instead it seems like they found the gap again. There's only one player towards this A side of the map. Blow's just having to sit all the way back, and he's calling for those rotations. You can see immediately they know that this is going to have some direction to it. The run it back, clearing out everything. Only the back of the site left unchecked, and there's nobody in it anyway. A post plant guaranteed, but a player following it up. Good drone though. They've at least spotted it, but Yudatan is not falling back. He wants to fight this.
It looks like he's having fun as well, but now the ults from Leviathan end up playing against them. Autumn's taking him twice in a number of seconds in a 3v3 once again, but all hope is not lost for Leviathan just yet. They still have 3 to fight. They still have the off posted, the headhunter to fall back to, and the advantage now in their hands. A chance to push this further with just one standing in their way, and not for long.
They desperately needed that. Desperately needed to get that round on the board. And even just looking at the HP, look how close it was. 8 HP, 9 HP for Neon and Blows. As they finally managed to come out of one of them alive. The combo of 7 in a row has been broken, but of course, and this isn't going to blow anybody's mind, there's plenty of credits available for GE to buy back into this one. The good thing, though, is in terms of the ult economy, GE actually don't have too much to play with. They used some of them in the last couple of rounds, whereas that Hunter's Fury and Tour de Force could still be used.
Well, it looks like mid-fight is the game plan for Leviathan, wasting no time. They're already up in top mid, looking for the fight on the Crystal, who gets dropped by the Hunter's Fury. But it ends up being an immediate trade and still pushing up Asado. Headshot immediately delivered, and he will be bailing out of there, taking a little heal from his wall as he goes. But all aggression sent the other way by GE, at least to start this round.
Yeah, GE have done well to soak up that pressure. I think there's a very real chance they come out of that with a much bigger deficit. But I like the fact that Leviathan are also not just shying away from these fights, considering the scoreline. Sato, of course, has been able to heal up a little bit. Ludoton is going to try and fight this. The flash, it's good, but even again, it's just an immediate trade. Patman's so quick with it. And they're still putting pressure on other parts of the map. King, oh, he knows. He knows there's a man around this corner. He was reloading. That's the man advantage in favor of Leviathan. And now for the remaining members of GE, they have to go on a long rotation back towards the B site.
I've seen this as well. You lose your player A main. GE are keen to put some pressure, but they don't run straight into the site. You're still seeing Leviathan have players across the map, as you said, on double doors where King found that kill. And Neon stood up here in heaven. Even with the smoke, there's an angle, and the shot lands clean as can be. Patman, man who was doubted, and I'll doubt him again. This 1v3 looking to be near impossible now that Leviathan have woken up. It will be on his shoulders to put them back to sleep.
And Neon's patient. Doesn't go swinging before his teammates arrive. They were waiting for the dart to come back online, and now they know exactly where their opponent is. He's even going to get picked up by it as well. That'll make it all too easy. I said it, that one round just seems to have immediately flicked the switch. You see how confident that they actually played in those moments. And that's more of what we expect to see from this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. And just calming the nerves after what was a really rough start to the half. But there's still time for this to go back in their favor. Look, a 7-5 coming out of here. A damn sight better than what it looked like. And the most important thing for me, Tom, is from that first round win, you can see Leviathan on their feet. The energy's not gone anywhere. They're not counting themselves out of this.
We saw the content piece earlier with Jen. Sato said he's gone in for that #1. I think, you know, it's always going to be difficult to beat Yetaje. There's one thing he definitely does better than anyone else. And again, we're going to have this early contact. Operator Saddam King's done well. The spam finding Autumn. He has been a nuisance for them so far. But there is a second layer as well. That looked dead on, but it didn't land.
He mustn't have been fully planted, his feet on the ground at that point. Yudotan in danger as King steps through the utility. Finds himself one, but it starts to crumble. The numbers right back to level. Spikes in so slow and patient.
You should run.
Maybe a little bit too slow. Now the lockdown comes into play. He'll have to challenge this very early indeed. I think the play is going to have to be concede the site. Let that clock run down a little bit further and retake after.
I like this from Patman. You think that maybe they won't be this close, and because of that, he's reclaimed the space. Immediate trade, and another one from Spikezine. It's going to come down to 1v1. Crystal just waiting patiently, expects his opponent to swing, already gets it to heart, but it's Crystal once again. They're not going to allow their opponents to bring this back to 5, as he'll take it 8-2.
It was a tough start to this map for Crystal. Round 2, he got ran down by a classic and taken down, but I think immediately after that it was a 2K. He started to look confident, and now he's had 2 big rounds under his belt. Hammering Leviathan into the dirt, 8-2 now. And a big gap between these teams. The half, though, not settled just yet. Ult start to come online in favor of Leviathan. It made a difference last time, albeit that Sato ended up throwing his life away with the ult. G punished it right away.
Oh, contact play, but look. G, we spoke about this, the Death spoke about it. It is the team with the set plays versus the team with the counters. They're just waiting it out, but Neon doesn't go anywhere. He keeps that space. Yudaton gone. And a man advantage for Leviathan once again.
A much more passive stance as well. Right afterwards, King's being spotted, immediately just falls back. Looking for that contact, but you've only seen one player. It's not going to get the rotates out of you just yet. GE close in the distance. Prowler, he'll draw the rotate in from Spike Scene, but he is gone. Nice shot from Patman. Great stun as well. Followed up. That's utility from Javi, finding a huge mark in this round. And a 3v4 retake, but the numbers, they could be equalized here, but the ult from Autumn has saved the day. Neon's left alone, and it's not a pretty situation.
He's got no choice. No way he was ever getting back into that round. And again, you just see some of the individual brilliance and flair from these GE players. It's something that I love the fact that we're hearing it from Patman himself in those interviews, that when you go back to some of the moments in the last team, he had to be more supplementary in Paperex. He had to help others. He had to almost be the safety net to what is the manic craziness. Now in this team, he can be more aggressive. He can take more space. He can almost be that superstar when they need him. And this round, it was just him walking in, hitting a crazy shot and getting the opener into the site for Neon. Oh, okay. That's what we expect to see. Unfortunately, too late in the round, and he won't be able to hold on to the gun. GE are not going to care about the personnel losses. They can comfortably buy back up, whereas that operator, okay, there's a tour de force, but it won't be an operator alongside it.
At least a tour de force and a rifle drop to a teammate. It's something, but a silver lining on a very gray cloud at the moment. 1 round left to play, and double digits possible for GE at the halftime. Leviathan certainly come in here with a high bar. After that performance in Americas, they could be coming out as #1.
They very nearly did.
A pistol round could have swung it, but now it seems like they've fallen so far behind what seemed to be playoffs that they were destined for.
GE rising to the occasion. No doubt about that. Neon already forced back.
You are divided.
It definitely seems like they have caused him a lot of issues throughout this game, not just able to sit on these aggressive angles and find players. Sato, again, only going to get one. The trading from GE has been perfect, and every time it seems like he's posted on an aggro angle, there is somebody just ready to put utility into his face, making that superstar look null and void. And Yudaton, he wanted to try and catch him before he could flee. In fact, they're all getting aggressive, pushing into the hands of Neon and leaving it all to Autumn. This round will be claimed by Leviathan, but they are still very, very far behind.
Oh, there is a lot of work to do when it comes to the second half, but we saw some sparks towards the end of this one, some decent rounds from Leviathan. But GE with a big lead at halftime. We'll see if Leviathan can bounce back after the break. The climb back steep and near impossible if GE keep this up. Double digits found. An aggression again coming in from the defensive side, this time running into all of the Leviathan players forward. And it's a bloodbath with barely any spilled on GE's side.
Oh, they've got to be over the moon. Like, a lot of the time we'll talk about the risks of pushing, but you could just see the confidence that this team is playing with. Spike under their control, and wow. The best case for King is he drops a gun. That's the absolute best case, but they are now starting to realize, well, that was probably one of the worst case, because now you have a flawless round and you have a run it back going into the next one for Autumn. who's also been having a fantastic series. I want to say as well, he's someone I'm very happy to see back on the international stage. I remember him in MPX being one of my favorite players to watch on that squad. Moving over to GE seemed like a wonderful pickup, and it has been.
It's fair to say, again, taking the consideration of how close that final was for Leviathan over in Americas. Them coming in here, the questions that float around about GE.
Yeah. Do we just give the Paper X the trophy now?
Ooh, we need to.
if this is the region diff, I think we're in trouble. Nonetheless, for Leviathan, we need to see a little bit more. Let's listen in.
Softening, fake molly.
Vamos. Ele pode ter ganhado a volta.
Tá, posso voltar a dronar, Bruno. Vou voltar a dronar agora. Olha esse pack de tá? Vamos finalizar pra ver porque eles reclinaram, tá ligado?
Vamos redominar grafite então?
Eu vou dronar, eu vou voltar pra ver pegar spike, tá? Vou ter que ir pelo long. Podemos voltar pra uma split rua se você quiser. Tá, eu vou ter que ir pelo long. Não tá muito bom aqui. Nada longear, Bruno.
Tá. Nada grafite também. Só voltamos já? Volta. Fazer pressão, tá?
Vamos fazer pressão, tá?
Dominar. Vou fazer a pressão. Devagar.
Well, so far, GE have had the right read. They've had the players in the right place. So this time, Leviathan throw in a little bit of a fake. Even find Patman to start it off. And now look to switch to the other direction. Cutting off that entire middle of the map with the Killjoy utility down. Leaves Javi in a spot where his back is open. So he pushes forward. Finds one. But now he's surrounded.
He's got a teammate, though. Yudotan has managed to move to the back of the site. They're going to try and cover each other off, but there is that backstab from Neon, and they clear Yudotan at the same time. Solid work from Leviathan. For Autumn, even saving the gun. Patman a little bit low when it comes to the credits. He does have his ult to play with, but wasting it versus 3, it would be a confidence round if he could take it, but I think the realization is in this case, it's not worth the gamble.
It's for the greater good, absolutely. Autumn going to save means Leviathan push up to 4. And this has to be the start of something special to put that win back in their
معقول الدرجة دي طولت
You know, the
انتهيت
funny
مع
thing is for
الأكل يا
GE,
رجل.
we say like they've
اللهم
had
لك
the right
الحمد يا
read,
رب.
they've been in the right place, both halves played excellently. But for Leviathan,
والله
here they
الجوع
throw the
كافر
fake
يا
in
عيال.
and
أقسم
still end
بالله
up
إني
running into
كنت
numbers. So GE still get those rotates to be in time, still
إني
fight
كنت
them
مرة
in
ماني في وعي.
mid.
جالس معكم مهبط.
It's really impressive seeing GE's understanding of what their opponents are aiming to do. More often than not, they're ahead of the play, and that's a big problem for Lev to deal with.
I think the one layer that was nice was
كان ودي أخلي الأكل
that
قبل
extra
الماتش
push
بس
through from Neon,
ما خلص
like just from behind. I think if they all go in the other
أنا رحت
direction
والنتيجة
through
كان
mid,
6-0
there's a
صح؟
very good chance they end up losing that round, but that backstab
سم اسأل حبيبي.
onto Javi also just put Yudotan in a really awkward position. 11-4. Even just getting a few rounds here for the Americas number 2 might be enough to just build up that confidence a little bit, show some of that flair. I think getting back into the map, I'm going to need quite a few more before I start to believe in that.
Without a doubt.
لا ما هذا
The
الجيم
gap is
هذا
far
الجيم
too
نوم.
big. Even
بالله
a
من
look
طرف
around
واحد.
can push GE across the line to at least an OT. It seems like Lev spreading the net early, looking to punish some aggression. Pressure on A, waiting on B long, waiting outside mid, but nothing comes in when they
أسمع لك
expect it
نصيبها
to.
بس كان
As
في
soon as they
تقارب في
abandon the
المستوى
spots,
نوعاً ما.
then GE push up. Look at Yudotan's position right now. He's taken full B main control, just as they left it. And that means now that the stack up is on A, and that's exactly where Leviathan are heading towards.
بما أن المتا دبل سنتينل.
Am I going to get a Phoenix fight off, but already so much damage done to that ult, and eventually Autumn is going to clear. Just holding them back for now, but there were already
المتا دبل دول
3 players looking to make their way through art. The problem that there is they almost have to go A or go all the way back around the map, and it's that deep position that's being held by Yudotan, which could be a
لأن المتا دبل
problem
دول
if they
بتشوف
do.
كيو.
The pick from Neon, though,
كسكند
makes
دول.
things interesting. 30 seconds left. They are committed to this A site now.
تشوف
No
شامبر
rotation
كسكند دول.
seen. That will mean that GE can gamble 3 players here as well.
They've got to go
Tشوف
soon. It's a
Phoenix
good chance
كسكند.
someone's already pushing behind them in A main. Straight into A is the only way for Leviathan. Try to force this out of the hands of their opponents. Crystal does very well. It's a triple
Wow.
for Crystal before he falls. And so the man on the other side of the map, Yudotan, has a chance, but blows with the perfect reposition. Hasn't been spotted. but will be dropped. Neon versus Neon, I suppose. Yudoton taps the spike and tries to bait his opponent into the fight, lands a shot, leaves him on a sliver. But Neon's still alive on the other side, still trying, but no longer. GE with no mercy, 12-4.
ما فهمت شيء. معنى كلام الناس اللي فاهمه في لعبه فالورانت تلعب اصول والله اتكلم صادق ماني قاعد ازعل كل ادور مشاكل. بس هذا الناس اللي محلنا اللي فاهمه فالورانت صح ومواكبه المتى ومواكبه اللعب عارف ايش يصير بين كل سيزون وسيزون وابديت وتابع البطولات فاهم كلامي. ما قلت هاي رانك انا لان صدق في ناس لو رانك وميد رانك هارد ستك اللكي يلعب فتره بس فاهم اللعبه بشكل مثل الهاي وقت الغين كفهم مش جيم سنس كفهم بس ناقص الخبره في انه يشارك في كثر ما يتابع بطولات ويتابع ناس ويتابع ستريمر.
Their push towards the site, their push towards a 1-0 advantage. Shock darts could do a lot here. Navi so low, but they've made it to the spike, and now the tap comes in. Leviathan having to swing in under pressure. King finds one, but they don't have their diffuser! This was his map from start to finish, and GE pocketed with ease.
Absolute destruction. And it's crazy what we've just witnessed. We expected this to be a close match, a close series. It was obliteration. Let's see if things change.
لاعب قوي بس تيمه ظالمه اقول لك وتصدقني في كل كلمه اقولها. اثنين ماكو يمن حقين دي ار اكس وبزيد عليهم ناتس يمكن اكثر واحد مظلوم. يعني هذا اللي جاب بالي حاليا. بس لا ما له دخل. كيف يعني؟ لا بالعكس بريمي لا ان نتكلم مظلوم ان حرفيا هو قاعد ممكن يسوي شيء مجنون لدرجه انه واضح اللقاب والفرق. انت بتقول لي اسباسو بريمي كان قاعد تقول لي انه الفرق واضح. لا ما هو فرق واضح. لا حرفيا انك تشوف استمراريه في الاداء عند لاعب في جميع اقيامه في جميع ماباته في جميع الشخصيات اللي يلعب فيهم عكس لما يجيك لاعب يطغى في ماب ويضيع في 3 مابات. انا لما جبت من طاري ناتس وماكو وهيمن ولاعب رابع نسيت اسمه لما جبت ذي الاسامي في كل ماب في الشخصيات اللي يلعبوا فيها يبدعون يعطي دوره وزياده والفرص اللي تجي يستغلها. بس ما تلقح معه بسبة في تقصير في تيم بلاي غلط في عوامل ثانية تغير عليه. ماتشكن نفس الكلام. ماتشكن مجنون يجئل مجنون ليدر مجنون في باسيفيك ريجن. بس التيم يعني يخذل احيانا ولا اداء. انا اتكلم عن اللعيبه اللي ادائهم ثابت دائما يعطي بس ما يقدر يوصل. دائما يعطي بس ما يقدر يوصل. اسباس دائما يعطي لا اسباس عشان يسوي يعني هو يعطي مرة ما 3 مرات ما يعطي مرة ما يعطي. لكن لما نتكلم عن شوف اسباس في مرحلة ما او في سنة من السنين كان دائما يعطي والمتى كانت تواكب وتناسبه. لكن يوم انقلب المتى الدبل دولست طغوا عليها اسامي كثيرة. قبل متى كان دولست واحد. فعموما هيك وفي مرحلة صدق قاعد اقول لك ايه صح اي تيم يروح الاساس يبدع. اوف يا ريل اتش اس ام انت انسان فاهم. عنده بطولة واحدة طيب يعطي. اوكي شوف اعطيك فكره. تسمح لي اقول لك كلام؟ تسمح لي اقول لك في لعيبه يعطون ايش مكان السيناريو بس ما يقدر يوصل. في لعيبه يعطي مرات ومرات كثير ما يعطي، وعشان يعطي يحتاج بيئه تناسبه. عرفت؟ بيئه يحتاج كذا يحتاج كذا يحتاج كذا يحتاج كذا، والمتى لازم تواكبه وتناسبه عشان يقدر يعطي. هذا انا ما اقدر اقول لك انه مظلوم، معليش اسمح لي. جاك متى استرا يكون كويس يلعب استرا، او اللعب اومن واجريسيف يلعب اومن، او هاربر متى يقدر يلعب لك هاربر ويعطيك في جميع كيوتل وكايم وكبوزيشن ويقوم بدوره سواء كان ايجل ولا سموكر او سبورت. فهمت؟ لكن يجيك لاعب مثلا، خلينا نضرب مثال في الدولست، تقول لي اسباس الان صح؟ تقول لي اسباس يحتاج بيئه وسبورت وشغل ومتى تواكبه وتناسبه ثم بيقوم يعطيك. عكس اللاعب اللي لو حطيته في اي بيئه حتى لو ما وصل بس تقول يا ولد هذا فعلا مظلوم صدق، هذا اللاعب قاعد الجن فايت يفوزها، اليوتل عنده تمام، مظلوم، اللكي التايم. فهمت علي؟ بريمي اليوم مثلا قالوا لي واحد بريمي مظلوم، لا بريمي مو مظلوم، بريمي تخاذل راوندات الدفنه. ولا اقدر اظلم بريمي اني اقول انه برضو لا، لانه الخبره لها دور. كم مره لعب جلوبال وتاهل بيد واحده ما تعدها، فالعامل الخبره له دور. لكن لما نقول ناتس في كل ماب في اي شخص يلعب فوق الشخصيات اللي ياخذها، ودوره كايجل موجود، دوره كقائد موجود، ايمه تحفه، يوتل فنان، كل جيم تضع بصمته. الجيم اللي تشوفه بوتن فراغ ولا ما يبدع ولا يذبح تدري انه فايز الجيم، لانه قايم بدوره وتيمه قاعدين ياخذون الكلات والفرص وكل شيء. لكن متى تشوفه يبدع ان تيمه يتخاذل. انا ضمت فيه يمن كدولست وكويلي، يوم لعب ايام نيون يبدع دائما يمن، وتوب 1 ويلي في السوق، وكدولست فنان وكل جيم يبدع في اي جميع مابات يبدع. ماكو لما يلعب اي سموك تبي استرا تبي ايش بيبدع، ولما مسك ايجل ما قصر، ولما شالوا منه الايجل لعب كسا سموك وجابوا مكانه ايجل بدع. دائما اداءه ممتاز. جن فايت الاشياء البلاي سمارت اللي يسويها ماكو موجوده على 4 سنين، والخبره موجوده، فالبيئه ظالمته بيبدع مهما كان. طولت انا سؤال فيها. اتوقع بيروح سايفر. اوه تو دولست تو نيشيتر ون سموك. الو انا كنت بقول لو بيلعبون بس تيخو سولو يطلع سايفر اوكي. اوريدي معك فليكس سكند دولست سبيس ويلي يخش يعطي سلو يطلع بس سلو مع مثل الاول. تو نيشيتر العن ابو الكنترول يا رجل، ما بهم متعه. ليتس جو. التصويت اللي ما صوت الحق ما تلحق. الو 4 دش. اوكي وجي عاد يلعبون فيد استرا تشامبر فينيكس ويلي.
Immediately, Sato has picked him out of the sky.
قاعده.
They're going to go running back, but they've been locked in. Spike Zine is watching from behind. Sato already with a much better start to this map than what we saw on the last. This attack side having to run all the way back.
اللي كان يلعب تشامبر يلعب الان سموك.
وكينج راح انيشيتر. اوكي. Nothing being spotted. But that backstab would need to be incredibly impressive if it ends up as a backstab. Is he going to spot out that there's no one here and they're going to go back and plant on A?
I think that's exactly what was happening. They left him behind so he could hear the rotates if they started to flee the site. The spike will go back in that direction. This was what worked for G on the last map. They were selling fakes so well, enticing Leviathan in. Crystal's chance to strike. He had such an impressive map previously. They'll at least get one out of this. Good stun to shut him down, but a plant and a 2v4, it's better than it looked like it would be.
It's still incredibly difficult. Lev decided to just group up, play it together. The stun catches Harvey, but he will be better. Will be good to go. As they look to try and round this corner, will they check these more deep angles? They will, and it's Sato once again. A great round from him individually, and now Autumn has to try and take over versus 4 players. Good flash! They caught almost everybody, but 13 health, time ticking against him. And eventually he's going to need to swing out and get one of these kills. He gets absolutely nothing. A pistol round from Sato, even going to get the orb.
ندق الجيم الأول. بس الحين ما بهم. الماب الأول الحين ما بهم.
Yeah, that will be Lev in the lead for the first time in this series. And what a way to do it as well for Sato, picking up a 4K focus there, very much on Patman, playing that Waylay. A bit of a surprise element, certainly for Leviathan. But the Waylay on the other side is the one opening up this map. A strong start to the defense for Leviathan. They get sold a fake, but react perfectly, punish on that side of the map. And the opening picks were sublime. Now, they get their reward. It's going to be a decent buy into this round. You know, for GE, win condition, or, well, not even win condition, but success condition. It's just a couple of kills. It will make it somewhat costly for Leviathan if they can meet that goal. But as you can see, they're not very well armed.
I think the other side of it for GE is just orb collection.
Yeah, with a Phoenix always.
We're going to try and get as many of them as you can. They were initially challenging for that A main control, but you can see the defenders are doing exactly the same thing. Be it to build up their own ultimates, with Sato only being 1 away after he claims this orb, or just to make sure, as you sort of said, don't allow that Phoenix to build up anywhere near as much. For now, though, tentative in their play. Everybody's gained at least a little, but the fights will seem quite one-sided when they come to blows.
Well, if you're at least trading out those orbs, finding them early, that's fine. GE, as you said, steps closer to the Phoenix ult, but this is where things should take a turn for the worse for GE. They've had good impact to start the round. They've got their orbs. They've even got a kill. The plant being attempted but pushed back by salvos. Sight taken. It's definitely a bit spooky. But Leviathan have the upper hand in almost every fight. And now they've got the numbers.
Yeah, they cleared the top site, and then anybody trying to claim any weaponry is being picked off as they go. Another 1v4 being attempted, and it will not come through. A great start this time from Leviathan. I think it is very important. Like, sure, it can happen. You're on your opponent's map choice, but we looked at this map of Fracture and went, this is not one of your greatest picks. It feels like you picked it as a counter to your opponents because they were not good on it either. But with the start that they've had, now we get into the main part of the match. The first purchase coming up for GE, and what will still be a pretty decent buy coming up for Leviathan, given the circumstances.
Well, yeah, 4 players carrying those weapons through. I think they only lost a Stinger. Gonna be pretty happy with that on the defensive side. Coming through with a convergence path as well with that strong start. Orb was given over to King, so obviously some value put towards that rolling thunder in the minds of
طيب تصويت ما قفلوه.
is already lined up. They pop the flash.
معليش عيال مشغول.
Leviathan keep pushing. It's a full south side crunch.
Nice.
معليش عيال كان عندي اتصال.
And they get scot free Crystal and
اوه سلامي الكنترول.
on the other side though. The Leviathan will be forced back in a 4v2. A nice attempt to make use of those.
شفت كيف الشغل بأسترا كيف تاخذ كنترول. معليش طفيت الراوند اللي راح كان عندي مسج مهم بالواتساب. بزنس از بزنس.
I think it maybe only caught the one, or by the time they got there, it worn off. But it meant that there were spams going through those smokes. And G again, something they did well in the previous map was thrive under the pressure of what is an aggressive defense. Of course, this round expectations still low. They didn't have the Vandals, they didn't have the Phantoms, no operator just yet. The question becomes how much damage
طبعا هذا البونس طيحوا سلاح واحد ممتاز.
I wonder if this would just become trying
يقدرون يطيحون كم سلاح.
them on the exit.
يبغى يلعبون اكزيت احسن لهم هيوج.
That's probably where the most value sits. As time takes on, it becomes more apparent. That is the play. Ollie towards main. I like this idea, keeping them locked in. Leon wants to make this as costly as possible, but as they run in through it, he gets a shot on them. And Crystal already falling. Decent bit of damage done. I think that is going to be where it ends. Holding on to the Guardian, I mean, obviously an option for King. But he's going to keep pushing the look for that extra kill, and in the end...
Yeah, maybe having the additional value into his own ultimate versus the ones on the other side. I guess as well, when you look and there's already the Nightfall and the Run It Back online, you kind of go, okay, it doesn't really matter if I go down. Patman's too far away. Yudoton is yet to get onto the board. So neither of those ultimates are particularly close. But this is where we see that first fall by. Can Leviathan start off strong as their opponents did on the last map? Or are GE going to be climbing right back level again?
كلهم منهم 6 كيل بي مخلي لي قاعدين اللعب صح. يا سلام يا سلام يا حبيبي شلون انساك. شوف فايدة التو انيشيتر كيف دلعني دلعني. احشر امه في الزاوية. ستن تو روكت اولن ويلي جو. ابسولوت سينما. هذه فالورنت هذه فالورنت هذه فالورنت. معليش قولي اوه يا ولد يوتل نبغى ليه راح العب سي اس. هذه فالورنت. شوف الالتيات شوف الدمار ويلي الت. تيخو يوتل بريتش يوتل اقسم بالله شيء. يعجبني الكومبينيشن. ايش معنات كلمة كومبينيشن؟ يعني مكز لي حبيبي.
In that previous round, especially considering that was the full buy, they had to run it back. It was a big danger for Leviathan to face off against, and they have dealt with it wonderfully. They were behind in the ult economy, but by the time the full buy comes up,
العجيب انهم تكون سايد خلون سايد يلعبون جامبل. ليش؟ لانهم يقدرون يلعبون ريتيك مع متون انيشيتر. شوف الريتيك الحين صح انهم يكو بس شوف اسلوب الريتيك. لازم يكون عنده علم. لازم يكون عارف انهم باشين. باقي معك سموك معك ستيم. يبغون يسمعون البلانت سبايك بلانتد. We need سبايك بلانتد. يدرون انه في روكت. ها.
Instead, maybe planning a switch up through the spawn, but the problem is that flank has now come through. They're making the realization of, okay, we need to take some ground, and that forces their hand in towards King, who's just been waiting. That's what he's been doing the entirety of the round, just sitting there. And this is perfection from Lev. They slowly surround them. G takes just that little bit too long to get the spike plant down. And they're going to come out of this one squeaky clean.
Yeah, I think it's something G weren't expecting to have such a heavy flank behind them that quickly. You can see they were trying to bait the salvos out, thinking that there would be a retake attempt from Leviathan from the spawn. And also, considering the round that just happened, they primed themselves for an attack, got dumpstered by utility ultimates and full-on aggression. Of course, they expected the faster retake, but delaying that time and running the clock down just allowed that flank to come all the way through. So far, it very much feels like the shoe on the other foot. In the last map, G they played the map better, but now it's Leviathan's turn.
And into our coin-based win condition. I think the thing that we sort of talked about with this Leviathan squad is it's the team that has the setup versus the team that has the counter. It doesn't look right now like GE have the counter. They've swapped out their composition a lot. They've even put players onto uncharacteristic roles. Of course, Patman's normally someone that we see on like the initiator or controller. Like that's where he's been kind of flexing over the last few months. They put him into this, and so far it hasn't looked great, but I feel like that's because Lev have had a lot of really cool trap plays. And at least with against the low buy, they weren't taking too much in terms of risks. They were surrounding them, they were very patient, and it seems like even though maybe Mini doesn't like the agent King is on, King's reads have been very, very good.
Absolutely. So far, GE being outclassed, the game plan's been working, but now they've taken a moment to chat with Frost, and it looked like he was in Rap God mode there. Certainly a lot of notes to hand out, but can they apply them? And they now start to chip away at that lead Leviathan have claimed. Their first time in the lead in the series, and they're not looking to let go of it.
Oh, early stun. I love this north side crunch, and they're doing it again from either side. Rolling Thunder even sent through in towards that spawn area. Spike Zine down. You can see they're just trying to survive, and the salvos again are causing so many issues. Yudoton just wants to hold on, and he's done very well. From that
حشرهم برا الماب.
Is he was in control of the spike?
Yeah. That's going to be a big problem. You take a look at Autumn right now towards the B side.
كل شيء مدروس يا عيال. والله العظيم كل واو.
To defend him. It would likely be a death sentence.
شفت متعة التونيشيتر
You're
انت
going to have to walk into the op of shadow, which is not going to be
انك تفوز بتونيشيتر وانك تسوي بلاي كذا مدروس وتجبر شيء ضرب حتى لو تخسر عادي. ايه يعني هو حاسب حساب انا لما استن ويبش ونسوي سلايد ونروح ديب الاماكن اللي يرسل فيها روكت تيخو مدروسه، مرات في الكورنر على الاركيد، مرات ديب سبون الاتاكر سايد الثاني اللي جهة المكان هذا ما ادري ايش اسمه.
towards that north side of the map. It seems like even from the two players that were there, they knew it was coming. They knew that that would be a possibility. And I wonder if there will have to be the switch up from G to almost have a bit of pack mentality, or even just be patient a little bit further back in the first few seconds of the round.
متى سيتم إجراء قرعة البلاي أوفس؟ سؤال ممتاز وجميل.
They are so far
لما يبدأ
into
البلاي أوفس.
their own spawn area that you almost feel like, well, they were left with nowhere to stand, and it's those reactive salvos coming out from blows going like, okay, there's players here, we know where they are, let's force them into awkward positions. Communication needing to be on point, but also just those set plays out from Lev working once again.
You know, one of the reasons that I was happy to see him try to save that was because they were one away from the orbital strike, but Neon's gone and found an orb in the meantime. There's plenty of them on offer here. And ends up orbital strike online.
نيون ويلي احشر امهم استنين ثلاثة فلاش روكت دي يا سلام. الحين وين بيلعبون؟ سيم كنترول نيون ينزل تحت.
They've been very proactive even on that south side. Every round it feels like they have space that they need to take a mission objective. And so far G cannot deny those objectives.
الوال حقا.
That's only a small amount of damage. Thankfully, yeah.
Teammate Molly, so.
Teammate.
Spike planted.
بلانتهم جبار الصراحة. للدش يعني الدروب وللمين يبغون يفايتون لأنهم يكو صح.
Certainly not slacking in this round either, but another for Unitime to seal it in.
Nice ترفتي والله.
50 win for 5-2. That's not the round I thought G would come out with.
Yeah, Mastercard.
عندك قصة ولا بعد عندك واحد منهم.
Give them
مع انحراف.
a huge boost. Because that was the thing. This was just one of those opportunities where you see that site almost gifted over to them. They managed to avoid a lot of that early aggression, and when they get into the post bar, you have Udatom with that free operator in hand. Those are the moments that we saw from him all the way through.
إذا خسر داون
The first map, a confidence
كنترولي.
booster, and seemingly part of the plan once again. But of course, the opponents are going to adapt to this early salvos operator posted up. Even
بوث دولس عندهم كنترول. التيخو ماسك الدش. بيريتك. الظاهر جي اي جلوبال عرفوا ان نظام الستايل انهم بيفوكس السايد دي ريتيك 1. البي مثل ما بغى ريتيك. طيب ايش اللي يخلي ليفتاني يلعب بي ويخلي لي؟ لا 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 طبعا لا غلط.
Maybe a little bit of impatience there for Leviathan, and well, the punish is massive faking out that A side as well. This is what we said in the last map worked so often. They put pressure on one side of the map, enticed Leviathan in, and then took the open side.
إلا سنتنا بس تحركات
again. Even that Molly, it's going to come in too late. Neon's in a lot of trouble with so many players there to fight.
Okay, تفككوا.
He never stood a chance, but blows steps right in for the same.
Wait fucking.
He's down to 45 health.
ايش الكول؟ تايم اوت 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 تايم اوت. Even if they are eco, they have two guns. They can buy for someone with anything on the side. They time out.
It was looking like, yeah, maybe we get the same as the last, where they just get blitzed down.
أنا أشوف يرجعون.
Pause comes in. The operator as well for Udotan has definitely been a difference maker. But also just pushing that south A side of the map.
حتى الفيك كنترول يسوي ليفتان.
Victorious. And the risks being
بيمشي.
you can understand it. They've been
أعطيك
so
كنترول
confident
أركيد.
in how they played in the last few rounds. That's why Leviathan
مثلاً.
forced that issue, but then it really does put Spike Scene in a spot where he kind of has to go hand.
أو أرسل نيون أندر مع بريتش والباقي يلعبون اي ونلعب بريتيك.
Their win condition has been taking that space, as we said.
تيمات مستحيل
They
ما
said, we're
ياخذ
going to
تيمات.
fight here, and they fight for that control no matter what. So this time there's a bait. Nobody steps into the bait, and eventually you'd think, okay, well let's get our early flank going. And worst case, I pop one and get back out. But instead, the round crumbles as a result, and that's a good adaptation from G to play that much more patiently on this attack side. Wait for Leviathan to make the mistake. So far they have given you fights. This time G take them on favorable.
ماشيين بي ممتاز.
It's again going to be this push. He was right into the operator.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got blinded there, or more, 2 players spotted. Are they going to opt to try and flee? No, they want to try and fight this. They get that opening. Yudoton has been sublime, by the way. I think that's the 3rd round in a row that he has found an easy pick. Well, I say easy. He was full blind and just hit the shot, but
Nightfall.
Easy for him. Stun will force them back. Nightfall. Patman has gone down in response. They had the ult ready to try and trap them, but they've avoided it.
Well, this is a much slower turn back to the other direction, though, from GE. Might start to think that, yes, this worked before, right? Going to the A site. Look where the spike is. It might not be what's happening. But they've done this. They've faked one side, then pushed up the other. This time, Prowler goes towards A. Leviathan think that the play has switched up, but they find out that it hasn't. Now a man lowered down, and the blaze covers across the site. Blows, though. A crucial kill up top. It's given them somewhere to fight from, but then the double to triple fake becomes the quadruple. They're back to the A site.
30 seconds left.
I don't know how GE keep doing this, but
بس still winnable.
the
ريتيك
ruse is sold every time, no matter how many times.
راح الريتيك خلاص.
And every time it feels like somebody is waiting for just an over-eager peak.
إلا إذا
Like, you
ويلي
can
أخذ بيك
understand
باللب ولت.
You're trying to figure out where they're going. You're
وهل
trying to
بيعطونا
work
بيك في اللب
out
ولا لا؟
the
هنا السؤال.
position of these players, and every time you gamble, it's wrong. Yudotan is just there waiting. His 3rd operator pick, where somebody has just tried to jiggle the angle, and he hasn't been missing. 12 and 5, by the way, while they are currently still behind in the map. He's been a huge part of this turning around.
45.
Basato, no choice but to flee and try and save it.
باقي 3 راوندات تايم اوت
I
تضمنها.
think that although we talk about the counters, we talk about those plays being made by G, I think Harvey needs to be given a lot of credit here, because I'm sure there's help from players feeding him information, but somebody is having in those mid rounds to make those calls, and over the last couple of rounds, they have been correct.
He's often been the one walking into that empty space. And what's impressive about it is I can't really recall him getting punished for it that often. His success rate is huge, either in just avoiding the unfavorable fights.
There you go, full blind.
Space after. Yeah, that's certainly an unlucky start if ever I've seen one, but from there, G do remarkably well to pull this back together. And it makes me grateful that we changed our setups. Back in the old days, we used to have the coach on the stage as well. I think the only thing I'd hate more than playing against Frost's team would be having to look up and see Frost across the stage. Just that big smile on his face every time a round like that happens. And it's gotten a timeout from Leviathan. They felt these last couple of rounds were slipping back to Pearl, we're slipping back to GE, having a lot more control than we want them to.
Yeah, and it's difficult as well because, again, like talking of that Coinbase win condition, like they had it at the beginning of this map. They had those sort of aggressive set play rounds that were working out wonderfully. And I think in the last round they were a little unlucky, or very unlucky. They have the same set play to try and go for that deep B presence, and you get domed by a full blinded guy who is just holding the angle with an operator. So it's a rough one to try and go out of a pause with, because you kind of sit there and go, well, was it the wrong play? No, not really. But Yudoton has been turning this game.
"12 and 5. I mean, his impact has been tangible from the very get-go.
The second he got the op, that was it. That's where things turned around.
But I mean, even on the last map as well, like he's had some crazy rounds, but seeing him run away with it like this for Leviathan's got to be spooky. And that timeout, no doubt. Not necessarily about Yudoton, more about how he's given those opportunities to catch those rotates in the late round, how the map is being pushed and pulled out of their hands. This time, Leviathan start in the spawn. 3 players waiting there. So they can react quite quickly to this more direct play from GE.
Ali Molotov. Trying to clear some of
اوكي يعني
those
صاروا يلعبون يسمون فاست روتيت.
Oh
closer
my God,
angles.
look at him. Look at him.
والأسترا
It's every round.
الأسترا
Army is just
الأسترا
claiming space. The problem is they're already into the tower, but now realizing how far back they are playing, that cosmic divide is just a general irritation. They can get into a post plant. The backstab is going to be so far behind, by the way. So if they're too slow, Harvey might just kill all of them.
That's the plan. They haven't gone for these flanks before. Map control's always been punished by them
جا
going
وراهم
back in the
وذبح
other
البرم.
direction.
اوه
Good to start. As now another goes their way. Leviathan pick up the
Whoa.
pace towards the site.
2v2.
And a familiar foe. Crystal
2v1.
and Uniton stand in the
1v1
way. Now just the one. Uniton's got the angle, but not the shot. Sato, the one with the pressure, though. He has to move to the side, has to start that diffuse. Swaps out for a rifle now in the ult. It's caught him, but he's actually out wide. Uniton's dodged it. Now the time on his side as it keeps on ticking. And he'll take the kill as well. He's unstoppable.
واو
I thought he had him. I'll be honest. I think the choices made there, but
حسافة
Sato with
الألت.
the right one. Avoid the fight. Slow him down. You
بس
probably at least get
والله
into
يا إن
some
تيمبر لعبها
extra
صح.
time, and then maybe go in for the kill. Instead, Uniton, balls of steel, just runs past the ultimate. And he knows he's hitting that shot. Why wouldn't he? Nobody's even
والله
close to him
الجيم
on the
ممتع
scoreboard
بشكل
right
هذه
now.
الأيام يا ناس.
5-5. From a massive deficit, GE have climbed back to potentially taking the lead, but they have finally killed
وقام
their
يرد.
demon. And maybe they've angered Sato in the process.
التغيير اشتغل.
The danger man is down. In
4v2.
fact, a few of them are.
ردها بدبل كل والله.
All that remains. What a great start for Leviathan. The lead may be back in their hands momentarily. With it being only Sato that gets dropped for his trouble.
Doing a thing.
Leviathan play this nice and safe. Passive on B. Ready to play the retake, knowing the numbers are by their side, and it means GE are the ones that have to take a risk.
عطاه
That risk
السايت.
means running into the
عطاه السايت.
numbers.
سمك نفسك.
Batman's dropped, and now
كل أسترا والله
his
يلعب
attempt
بس صعب
to
عليه.
make this difficult situation that bit more manageable has left Javi in one that I think we all
إلا
know
انك
is really
تتعنف
shattered.
تلقاه من الستن ولا من الاودن ولا من الوي النيون اللي يمشي مليون.
It's taken them a while to get there, but that
Don't leave
almost
him hanging. Come on. Come on. Come on now. Don't, you can't do this to him. Someone say something. Please.
Have we frozen in time?
Yeah.
There we go. Maybe the loudest cheer of the day.
I think that would united the crowd.
What a round from Sato, though. That was one where it genuinely felt like they made him angry. Like it needed something to ignite them after 4 rounds lost in a row. But there's still plenty in the purchase. An operator handed over to Patman, of course. They've got the credits to spend. The tour de force available for Uniton as well. As if he wasn't already quick enough. This time, Sato has looked to try and claim B main control instead, on towards their south side.
This is it. What won them the last round was the opening shot from the off.
الأب شغالين انا هين المتعة يا شيخ. ايزو ليه ما ينزلون ايزو؟ على الوضع ده ايزو اكثر مستفيد. صح؟ يا ولد الدنيا اب من هنا من هنا، تغيد من هنا يذبح من هنا.
Right behind him. And now it's a patience game, a waiting game. Perhaps the smoke up though allows Uniton to close that distance that little bit further. And King with a
He's human.
decision. That shot didn't land.
شو راحتي؟
Right past Sato, and now he knows exactly where to look.
Even still,
Spike planted.
post plant
وضيعوا على بعض.
available on
على الباقيين لا. ولا ردها له.
Of those operator players, give them that man advantage. Give them an opportunity to at least go in with a lead after the start they had, but Harvey's had none of it. Already clearing
2v3 2v2 التغييرات شغال. تغييرات شغالة. تغييرات شغالة.
Shot's not quite landing though, even still, it will come down to just one. Blows making his way to the site, needs to bait someone into a fight, and Autumn just isn't giving anything away. He knows his teammate will swing first, and Patman still just sitting in the corner, will go down the spam.
بغى يشلع
Not quite
مخ
landing. And Autumn knows he's got him dead to rights at this point. We will go in even at the half.
6-6 يا سعد لي الجيم يا عيال.
It's a nail biter of a game, but
يسعد لي الجيم. يلا اعلان هاف اعلان هاف.
Just yet a solid half. Let's see if they can keep it up after the break.
يا رب تروح ما بتري يا عيال على ذا الحماس. طيب اذن عندي العشاء من 10 دقائق، انا بقوم اصلي واجيكم. الصلاة اللي اذن عنده. طيب
because let's be real, they would not have 6 rounds on the board if he wasn't playing the way he is.
That is very true indeed. And has been a hero performance in the first half, but now we move to the second. They've had time to chat with their coaches, and we've certainly seen the coaches waffling away. Round 13 kicks off with GE on the defensive side, and Leviathan, although they've cleared a lot of space towards B and then put a lot of numbers there, will be the A site that is the ultimate target. Wrap back in, comes in just as GE flee the B site and put numbers and boots back on the ground here. And then Leviathan go the other direction. Early on, you know, I'd even expect this to be about orbs, but they've not taken any yet.
Well, they're walking into the one man they were probably trying to avoid. Yudotan waiting patiently, it's immediate. Spike Zine is gone. Okay, they're gonna remove all of his utility, stun him. They're sending everything to try and clear this man out, and they will do so. Remove. Look at all the assists that came through onto Yudotan, the Batman. He's trying to be cheeky and he's caught for it. King trades him out. Advantage firmly garnered by King.
30 seconds left.
And now Crystal, 14 HP, 3 to find. All of them healthier than him, but that Sheriff is going to be deadly. Well, to almost everyone up until he hits that shot. In the end, it's Sato to close. Leviathan reclaim their lead with a pistol. Just look at Sato trying to hype up the crowd, hype up his team, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when you're having a game like him, you want to be the one trying to inject that energy into the rest, and no doubt King's feeling pretty happy after this pistol. A little bit of a confidence builder for him and for Leviathan as they find their way back into the lead. Strange attack side there. It looked like they expected some aggression out of GE in that pistol, looking for it on B, going under, walking back to A main, clearing it out. But in the end, they found the easier site to push into and traded out those kills very nicely. 7-6, and a lead in the half should follow. Should get even stronger as they're now up against Classics.
Again, we're going to see the same from Global Esports. They want to try and get as many orbs for Autumn as possible. North side A taken, and on the other side of the map, they've just left Yudotan. He's already hearing the steps, he's already spotted the players. They're going to try and pincer on the remaining holding, but Neon and Sato have done a fantastic job. Now it leaves just one. Spike not going to be planted just yet. Counter flash will leave him completely blind, and in the end, it's actually the flank from Sato that clears him. Orbs collected for the duelist, a few for the other side. The lead extended for Leviathan.
Yeah, nice work all around. Definitely seemed like a danger when Yudotan was under. Heard 2 players go towards B, because the immediate call there is for those guys in A main to just run it down, start the early flank, take those fights, and they had the numbers, but they didn't have the weaponry. A big round from Sato as well to give them a 7, put him 17-8, now tied up with Yudotan on the scoreboard. But the rounds favoring Leviathan. That may change here, but it's a very strong bonus round for this attacking side. They've got a lot of rifles to work with. And of course, pack mentality prevails even with SMGs at times. Great pickup by Crystal, though.
And they're ready for the player to try and swing out through top. It's going to be Autumn taking the fight with his ultimate. They know how important keeping this round clean will be. With King, one of the weaker weapons. Unless blows can hit a wonderful timing. Yeah, they're already going to be spotting him. He is currently completely isolated. In fact, every fight that would be taken by Leviathan here would be isolated, and for Yudotan, that might be the easiest kill he's had so far today. A flank, leaving it down to just one, and in the end, Global Esports will comfortably make it through that bonus.
Yeah, considering what they were up against, it's almost comfortably making it through a buy round. It's a very nice one from Global Esports. As we said, for Leviathan, on this attack side, pack mentality can work, but when you lose spike scene right away, and Sato coming up through heaven is caught like that, they have early flanks as well. It really exposes a lot of issues with that round, but it also gives you a lot to learn from. They made a more direct play, and GE very quickly closed the walls in on them. Be something they look to exploit, but for now, it looks like, again, pack mentality, 5 in dish, stun set up. We will have a pacey attempt. Whether this is for the orb, I'm not even sure, because with no presence elsewhere on the map, you almost have to play this as a straight-up hit.
Gonna force Harvey back, but it's the rest of the team are still here. There were 4 players on this A side of the map, and that's a problem. They go diving into a stacked-up site. The read again from GE is nigh on perfect. And for the remaining 2, they're trying their best to fight back into the round, but this was an early clear of the south side, and now they go running in towards Neon. Be careful. This guy has proven time and time again that on the skill scale, he's almost ticking off it. But a 1v5.
Got the spike.
I think you'd be crazy to believe.
Well, 1 down already. 2 away from an orbital strike. Big mistakes would be needed to even give him a chance. And you can see right away, look at Udaton on the other side of the map. He's fallen back, he'll take an orb. And set himself up to just catch the info and TP right out. There is no escape for Neon at this stage. The only way is forward, and with 20 seconds left, if he doesn't decide to move, saving won't really be an option either. Udaton has boxed him in complete. Well, okay, saving will be an option, but not what he's going for. That's 3 kills, 8 seconds left, needs to get the plant in. Okay, maybe waited a little too long to get that one going, but I'll be honest, I started to get nervous for a second there.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for having just sat in the site, I would have been sweating for them. But even still, it's a lot of damage, considering how clean everything was at the beginning. But this was also just pretty much setting up in that 1-4 for the side of GE. They had 3 players pushing that south side of the map, and when Harvey spots everything, and I think they put a prowler all the way through in towards the spawn, they go, okay, well, there's no one on this south side. They have to be on the north, and everybody rotates in ready.
And also Udaton is holding Northside Arcade, sees nothing. It becomes pretty obvious where they may be.
باك
The walls closing in quicker than
كم
expected.
8 اوه
On Leviathan in that
لاحقين
previous
بعض.
round, they are denied any presence here
من
towards
6
A
6
main
8
by the
8
volley. And evidently they don't want to fight into it
My ultimate
afterwards.
is not
Again,
ready.
they're on this low buy. The pack mentality's been adopted when it comes to the buy round, so you very much expect it to be the case here. And for GE, the information is in their hands. Nothing in A main, nothing north side. You know it's a B hit. You don't want to get too close to those pistols. You don't want to get overwhelmed by this push. Down below, a bit of an awkward battle. Oh,
okay.
that's fallen.
This now gets interesting.
عندهم بوست قوي مشكله في الفلانك شال برم اللي عنده انت
That is
اوكي
unfortunate timing.
معهم فاندل معهم تيخو عنده توراكت معهم بريتش سوي افتر شق من تحت
Now Sato has an ult of his own. It's not going to connect. Crystal waiting on the other side.
يا سلام يا سلام اقسم بالله هم يكل يا اخي تونيشيتر بوست يسوون هانت للوب هانت للوب جو 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 جو
is chasing him down. Looking to run after that operator. And he's got to be very careful here. There are multiple players trying to surround it onto him. They are baiting him in. And it will be a MasterCard Thrifty. He gets another round.
دقيقة بشوف طلبي وجع السريع
Lev right back in the lead and right back on their feet. Yeah, perhaps that can bridge the gap somewhat. Tour de force put into play right away, but Udaton's walking in to Sato and will be shut down. The big gun removed from the round right away. And now for GE, not much more hope remains. Anti-flash on the other side. Some players will be caught, but others won't. The stuns go in right away. Sure, they'll lose one. But how much more can GE hope for in a fight like that? The spike up for grabs if they could win it. And Patman's thinking about it. He's got a rifle, but the high-low setup on the other side could completely decimate any chance of finding the kill. And now almost every danger has been removed From that defensive arsenal.
He turned around.
Player
Nice.
standing.
Okay.
Whew. For a second, it looked like, but clearly the Spidey senses were tingling. Cool and controlled for Leviathan. Maybe there'll be one kill at least. There you go.
اوكي
They now know where the last man is, and
حلو وين راح
he's got the whole team facing off against him.
ليفيتان 10 حلو برحمة فيه يا رب.
Once more, but this will be the round that the pause was called for.
Shoot the bad guys.
For Global.
من امس الاقيهم كله 2-0 حتى اللي قبل
the
ذا.
last half, a fight back that brought them level. Of course, we know going into that third and final map, you kind of feel like a lot of those
كيف شغل.
veto advantages start to fade away. I think many, including myself, once we saw Ascent banned out, thought maybe even the
يلا
split
حيد
would
لا
be
غير
picked
سهلين.
by the side of Leviathan. So, although it may have started off as a bit of a shaky veto,
لا
if
يركض
we go
اقسم
to
بالله.
map 3, I'd almost start to say they're favored again.
We've seen this approach from Leviathan on the defensive side. Now GE adopted 2 players left towards the spawn for that quick reaction, and the play coming towards B. The Rolling Thunder should completely stop
Let
them
us
from
spawn.
having any say in this. Chance for the operator to maybe land one, but no, TP taken back, and now full control for Leviathan, you would think.
تخست.
Running back sent in, they
Okay.
get one off of it, and another onto Sato, and the numbers now sitting 5v3. They haven't even planted the spike yet on Leviathan, and they're being whittled down.
Go, go, go.
اعطى روكت.
Create some space. Spikes
ديب روكت ديب روكت ديب روكت يا سلام.
chance for
خش مكة هناك طيب وكان تيمه.
in a deep position. And now the spike dropped in a bit of an awkward spot. They need Spikesy to basically go back in. Can you do it again? Can you get us that space back once more? Can you cause that distraction? The answer is no. GE respond in turn. The back and forth of this map continues. And another purchase will be coming right back up.
يلعبون توني شيتر وتو دو ليست. حلوه سيج والله اضافه للبلاي ستايل حقهم. تقصد ليفيتان بس يبدل نيون او ويلي واثنين يلعبون اجريسيف.
GE looking much more calm and comfortable in that. Udaton again being set up for those op shots, and it feels like when he goes pushing in at the start of the round, Sato has his number. It's a lot of connections coming out of the waylay on Leviathan, but in those retakes, Udaton's had so much value. Just got to keep him alive that long. It looks like GE want to re-aggress on they're hearing some noise in A main. Send Autumn there, flash through, seize the control.
وقدم والله ذكي يا جي.
Falls back. They put Patman in to hold the line.
He's got to be
وين
careful.
سيج ابو خالد؟
Just about makes it round the corner, but he's still here.
علي انت في خبر كان.
I don't think that was the plan, but he's held the ground to an extent. In the meantime, the
الله
rest
انت
of
عليك عاد.
on the attack go rotating to the
هلا
other side.
عزيز يلا حيه.
Deep control on the north side
اهلا
of the map
وسهلا.
from Globe, and as you said, the man, the Phoenix that was on the other side, is now waiting for them on this one. Nice work from Sato once again. The orbital strike will deny them at least running all the way through, but Autumn already looking to try and flank back around through that north side, which they kept control of.
Flash going to come out up top. It's devastating, but the shots don't land. Leviathan find everything, and now a 5v2. Well, we said the ops being good on retakes, but he'd have to be great to stand even a chance. Patman by his side. Oh, isolated in the open, and it's an easy
11-9. شكلنا بنروح سبلت.
9 now. Just 2 away from closing out the map, bringing us to split. And as you said, Tom, that's where favor starts to flip a little bit.
Well, the thing is as well, you look at the role of Sato, and that role is meant to be a death sentence. That's meant to be, you dive in, you try and get a shot off, and then you retreat and somebody else takes the space. He's diving in, he gets the split second, is immediately hitting headshots, and comes out with 3 kills at the end of the round. He truly has been incredible in this.
بس شكرا احمد الله يا عزيز. طمني عنك
And
انت.
him
ايش حالك عساك
versus
طيب؟
Udaton has been a fun battle, but I'll be honest, he started to take over it. Patman, though,
Oh,
finally
oh.
shut this man down. That might be a good opportunity for them to find a response.
Oh, nice push up in A main. It looked like they take some blows.
خلاص ما تلستغط
It's
معهم.
well after the fight. By the time that anything's landed for Leviathan, a 2 versus 4 needed. Sure, they've got ultis, but this isn't the round for them, surely. It looks like a write-off and stepping into the off, this time in the hands of Patman, but the result is no different. A body on the floor, and it's not a defender.
الله يديمها يا رب.
Spike Zine The last one standing, 4 players to take down. This would put Leviathan up to 12. It'd probably win them the map, but it's an impossible task.
جاي احس يقرب نتيجه. تروح او تي من الحين يا عيال. تشوفون اوفر تايم ما استغرب اوفر تايم على المستوى ذا، مره قريبين من بعض.
But then again, we talked about this a lot throughout the match so far. I love the calls from Harvey just to go, no, you know what? We've used the ultimate. Let's play through their utility. Let's get aggressive. Trap them in towards their spawn while they're isolated.
عندهم استرا الت الحين هم على اساس يلعبون ريتيك.
Confidence building round, but again, with how things have been going, both teams winning their rounds cleanly. The economy hasn't gone anywhere. Patman once again with that operator, but a flash should be coming through that wall before they peek. No, are they going to walk up on it? He's just going to look to stick around, and well, he's definitely been caught out early. It's actually Yudotan to go down instead.
That was all part of the plan. G sent 3 players to try to fight towards Arcade, but Leviathan had the whole squad come that way. Now, being boxed in Arcade, you can see the jump peak from Javi that I don't think was spotted. Leviathan don't know the numbers they're facing, but now Patman under pressure has to move the Armageddon.
واو واو وخسروا التيخو بعد. التريد ما يوقف يا رجال، اللي ما يتريد
Like gets forced out by the ult, throws his jumps back into the open, and while they're trying to swing in to catch him, Autumn just wrecks 2 players on the way into the side. It's a painful taste of defeat.
عندما استغلت اوتوم انالت الفينيكس.
And while you're starting to see those credits
اليوم بيشغل امه للدين.
dissipate for the attack inside, they might be left with nothing into the next round, but they're going to pick up the pace themselves, immediately throwing through the overdrive, and on the other side is caught, and in fact it spikes it, that ends up with the kill, trades immediately back in response, it's chaos, but Sato again lands a shot, back to a 3v3,
اوكي يلا نستوعب حنا اللي ماتوا.
Both teams pausing to catch their breath. Patman's operator has been spotted. Yudotan, his position also seems known, and it's almost bait. They want them to swing, they want them to peek, to re-clear, to think that they've left, and they do.
Of course they do. They heard the door open. No contact for 30 seconds. This is where Lev clearly have gone back to that B side, but as we can see,
بيسلمون لهم معقولة.
the case. And dangerous now if they're allowed to get this plant in.
تيخو باقي عنده روكت. يقدر يلعب فيه بوست. بيغسله. بس ليش؟ اغسله يساقي. عدله قلت غريبة الروكت كذا. هم على دراية بأن الويلي طالع دش.
Sato never let go of this position.
اوكي حلو الالت جدا. مسبلة التيم.
His position, but can they avoid King? Holding within.
الله
looks to just clean up everybody. Patman hunting for a rifle. He doesn't even know that he's still around this corner.
اوه الهي.
Once again.
ما حد هلد الوال.
Continue to dig deep, and are now 1 round away from taking us to map 3.
Global Esports got past that first map easily. Barely broke a sweat.
One enemy remains.
We said they would be tested when it came to fracture to Leviathan, just up to difficulty 12 on the board.
نشوف.
It's either overtime or
جي ما عاد عنده الت. عنده باي. فول باي.
Adopt the death ball. They went to the B site with this.
ليفيتان.
Numbers. There were 3 players there when they didn't expect it. Now the death ball's on A. There's 3 players here. GE, numbers in the right spot, and Patman's feeling greedy. Gets in, he can always get out. Well, for the next second or so he can. And now he's stuck around too long.
GG.
Punish immediately.
الليدر.
Should be picked up to this A site if it is.
كريستال عندك كريستال عنده الكيل مفتاح. كريستال لازم يجيب بكين. لا ليه غبي جي جي.
Leviathan are hungry for a 3rd map. Their orders
are
almost ready. The human missile hits his mark. And now just 2 left. But it's Javi who has to find both.
بس مشكلته جاي من الدش.
Tan gave them a chance. Tried to close it alone and leaves his leader to try and fight versus two. Neon on King on the other side, but the problem is he has to make noise. He has to give the game away, tries to bait the fact that he's already dropped down. But they will now know, and the Rolling Thunder is going to force him all the way back. That time ticking further and further. The map 3 looking inevitable as Leviathan will hold their ground.
سلم يا مخرج.
On the horizon. Don't go.
متعة 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 يا ناس. ليفيتان أداء ممتاز، جيم متقارب جدا. بنعطيكم إعلان وبنفتح تصويت بعدها الماب 3.
But with how Sato played on the last map, I don't like if you're trying to counter this man, he might rip your head off before you can even think.
يلا باك بسم الله بدينا الماب الثالث. ماب سبلت بين ليفيتان وجي اي ديسايدر ماب. ليفيتان ديفند، جي اي بدوا اتاك وبكلوا من ليفيتان. التشكيلة نشوفها بعد الراوند. كلين فلولس بيستول من ليفيتان.
The saying is you can live to see yourself die alone or something along those lines. My man just didn't die. He just stayed alive at the back.
يلعبون فايبر اومن ومعروفة فايبر فايبر اومن. نيون اوه فينيكس موجود وفينيكس اوكي يجي يلعبون فايبر اومن سيم شيت بس اللهم دولست واحد وسيج موجودة. توقعت اشوف ريز من ساتو ان ريز من الشخصيات لكن بعد النغفات ما زالت نيون قدامكم قاعدة اللعب. التكسر اللي بالشاشة اي تكسر عيال، في تكسر اللي يتكلم عنه ركان ايش يقصد؟ التصويت اللي ما صوت راحت عليه خلاص قفلني. اشوف اي مقفل. من قبل راح نقول في تكسر، في خط في نص الشاشة. اي والله ليش؟ Step forward, grab the orb, make some noise, let them know that this is the side that they're looking to fight on while the others walk into B, but it's not left open. Leviathan. اي والله التيرنج. تحاكم الأول. سلم. اصبر سريع اقدر اشيله. موجود هنا؟ لا. اوكي عرفت ليش. صبر بس ها.
They can come into this next round with rifles across the board, bar a singular judge, which, okay, it's not as strong as it used to be, but I think we've already seen that even going back to map 1, the Neon could still be incredibly strong. Maybe the judge can too. And as their lead builds, it feels like so does that confidence for Leviathan. That first map seeming more like the outlier than the defining factor, and that's what I was kind of expecting with the slows. Like, you know that your opponents like to get aggressive, so throwing those in early. But I also like what Neon did. He's jumping out, gets the info, but it's part of the way. He can't be trapped there, and he still spots players.
مشكلة جي سنكش ليش طلع من متى موجود يا عيال؟ من متى موجود طيب سؤال؟ لا يعني بث اليوم من متى؟ من البداية؟
Very unlikely to happen towards this A site. Prowler sees nothing there. Didn't see nothing. I think Autumn might have shot it. Went down very early, and they certainly know he's around this area.
هم بثهم فيه.
The first map, this would have already seen the rotate start to the A site, but as we said, Leviathan are more than aware of how GE like to work this attack side. How they've been exploited in this series already, and so as GE gear up for this B hit, there's still going to be numbers waiting. Did to send Autumn late through mid. Actually, he's going to find a lot of empty space there.
من عندي تيرينج بحله ما عليك.
30 seconds.
بعدين مو اليوم.
3 players make that 4 already hit for the defenders. The read is almost perfect. The crossfire's working out as well. As one player goes down, the swings are immediate. And this is a problem for Global. Nice work from Patman and Autumn alongside him. The spike looking to be planted, 12 seconds left. He's got an isolated battle, but Autumn is quick enough. It is a dangerous bonus, as we said at the beginning, and maybe a little bit too close. Nonetheless, GE do have their first round.
Yeah, definitely a lot of
هي من الجي سينك، انا ابغى اجيب الجي سينك عجزت القاه.
GE with a lot of patience as well.
الجي سينك ابغى القاه يا عيال، هنا عجزت القاه.
The question mark that created was enough for Leviathan to decide to rotate through spawn, opened up the door for Autumn, and once they get to the site, their pace was perfect. They start to move towards the spot, but they don't burst out into that space for the fights until Autumn's ready to come in and back them up. Nicely done. But now the full buy from Leviathan, a much stronger round from the defense.
في مود بدون حل فيه. انا اشوفها من الشاشة الثانية، انا اشوف.
With a very different approach as well. Last round was waiting for aggression. They had 1B, 1A, 3 mid. This time, everything given up with 120 on the clock. It's pack mentality.
هذه يسمونها تيرينج، تصير إذا تبث من BCN مختلفة.
Depends how long it's going to take Leviathan to realize. Lowe's job is just to try and slow them down, and the pre-fire almost takes him out completely. They managed to keep control though of those rafters.
ممكن نرى ميكس في البطولات، ما ظنيت يا عبد. يمكن تيم يزحف يسويها تيم واحد، ايه بس انه يكون لا، مستحيل تستبدل اومن واستر. سلام! 1 by 1 حبيبي.
And now Neon left with almost no choice. 1v4. It's time to go to the other side of the map, tuck in, and hope to carry that rifle through to the next. A great round for GE, though only losing Udaton, who was grandstanding in the middle of the site, and he took 2 with him.
Yeah, I like the way they adapted to that, though, because you look at the fact that Heaven Control was completely in the hands of the defenders. I think that initially Blows did a great job to just make sure they can't just run up and take that for free. It makes the retake so much more difficult. But then, as you sort of said it, they implant Autumn in a deeper position. He's then left smoked off, and then Udaton is just watching that angle. And okay,
ما بيختار، ما بيكون ديسايدر، ما حد اختاره.
Thrown in at the same time from Patman, who's TP to almost use the gap in the wall. And then when Udaton is hit.
أنا ألقاها من التيرينج ولا من بالتويتش اختاروا.
And then when Udaton is.
What the fuck?
And then when Udaton is hit.
هو من عندي، من عندهم يا عيال، من عندهم.
Hitting those shots, it makes things that little bit.
Staring right back at him. Of course, you're going to take risks in a round like this where there's weak weapons in play for Leviathan. They get nothing, bar a bit of information for the first fight. Now, this is a bit more dangerous, but they've just spotted Blows. Does well to find even the one, and despite some damage being done, this will be a hard round to take out of G's hands. Showstopper if they need it, and that's probably a big win if Leviathan can make them pop that ult.
ما بأتاك.
At least managed to get his rifle back, but you can see the positioning from Patman as well. A late smoke thrown in. Now he's flanking a man who thinks he probably has a wraparound.
إيه الفترة الأخيرة ما بأتاك.
Quite important. Does Patman actually turn around? No, he does not. Okay. That's at least a gun into the hands of Sato, but can they get anything more from this? Time-wise, probably not. It is ticking fairly fast, and with Udaton putting... what? That's a mistake. Yeah. You can see by his face. That was not the plan whatsoever.
الحمد لله طلع بكل على الأقل.
Yeah, definitely not a part of the plan.
بالغلط.
From Udaton, but hey, he gets a kill for it at least.
Well,
my son.
He sent his missile, the namesake, out. Fair enough. Might not have been necessary, like you say. I'm 99% sure that was a misclick, or it's one of the most audacious end-of-round plays I've seen in a long time. 3-2 nonetheless. GE find themselves the lead, and Leviathan are feeling the pressure. They have taken this moment to call a timeout.
I think it shows the headspace of GE though. Like you're in a third map.
ودي اطفي الجيسنك وشغله بس خوف يخرب شيء ولا شيء يا عيال. الحين الجيسنك لو طفى واشتغل البث يصير فيه مشكله.
Having that sort of positivity. You've made a mistake in what is a pretty big game for you, but you've closed out the round and you've won 3 rounds in a row. And as said, in the last map, those pistols ended up almost being a saving grace for Leviathan because they only just closed it out 13-11. But the fact that GE has got off to such a good start, and when you look back to at least the last couple of times they played this map, their defense was very good. And I think that sort of sits true to this composition.
اشغله ولا اقعد بدون اجرب؟ نجرب بدون؟
I think Lev have realized very early on that okay, we need to chat to owner, we need to come up with something here on the defense.
شوف راح ولا لا؟
at least the
إذا ما راح شغلته يمكن يزين. كنا موجود.
Oh, they've had their moment. Chat with the coaching staff, and now we're right back into the game. The barriers will go up, and it's time for them to apply whatever they've learned from the big brain in the coach booth. GE, pack mentality. 5 players sitting outside A. No control across the map. This is, you know, they have got a sentinel, but quite in that way.
If they don't go A, it's going to take them a very long time to go anywhere else, but clearly very confident in their A site take, especially when you have a nightfall. We've seen this already, the throw put out, then they have the wall put up top. Once they can get it on the cross, the thing is that the defense are already here. They're already ready once again to try and go for this retake down the ramp, but last time they got shut out.
They dealt with a TP attempt from Patman, so no heaven control now for GE to work with. They're sitting down on the site, waiting for Leviathan to come to them. Remember, last time Autumn in the same position wasn't spotted, wasn't needed. So he can hold that deep into the round. The Sage wall has to be broken. The slow goes in right away. More time bought. More delay.
يا رب يجي تايموت. عشان زين.
Oh, it's lined up perfectly. It's going to catch so many. 3 players blinded by that, but Avi and Crystal, they still managed to find their kills. Numbers sit heavily in favor of GE, and King might have bought himself a way out. A way to save this weapon with that kill, but no chance anymore for the round to go their way. Leviathan after the pause. It's the same result.
I really like the small differences we're seeing from GE. Like you think back to that prior round, okay, they still didn't have that heaven control, but they got the wall up there, and then they TP up to the wall. This time they put it towards the spawn. You have Javi sat on it the whole time. Okay, you break my wall, I'm going to just put slows in. And then they get up close in contact. Sure, the spams help them a lot, but also that paranoia is going to near sight you. It's not going to leave you completely blinded. Come on. They seem to be enjoying themselves. You can understand why. 4 rounds in a row. That A site take has caused so many issues that look at the defense in this round, Mitch. They are about to try and fight them for A control, and they're not there.
Yeah, indeed. 3 players go running up, see absolutely nothing but GE. They've taken a loss early on. Patman down and out, Patman right back in. No spams to take him out of the round, and Autumn has just spotted 1. Make it 2 inside the vents. A trade at least for GE. Let's see how they deal with this situation at 3v4.
Heaven Phoenix. Phoenix on me. I don't see it. Stairs. I'm holding heaven. Heaven 1. Wait, happy.
Last player standing.
Left side.
And
good damage there.
Oh, it's a narrow margin, but Leviathan just about find the round.
Yeah, I think it's one of those moments where
بسم الله يزين.
Neon is almost doing more than his
شغلته يا اخي مود يا اخي يقسم لك تقتل المتعه. يا اخي تغلط بتيتي خلص يا اخي حتى لو شغلته اضغط زر غسة الجهاز وغسة المودم. خليك يا اخي معي في الفرحه يا اخي يا ليل.
I think the deaths he's had have mostly been when he's rotating towards A. I think it was 6-1.
ضحكة شلبي غريبه فيني عفطه هنا كذا اضحك هنا متورم فيني التهاب فبجي مطعوج شوي في يبغى لي وزنه ذرعه. لا راح الورم بعد يومين بضحك طبيعي. الحين صعب اني اشد ايدي كاني مبنج لما تروح الدكتور يبنج نفسها. ضحكة شلبي غريبه تعبه مو فيلم رعب.
Putting the numbers now in their favor despite early damage, and now the pressure on to Neon, who has to just back out. Spikes in though.
ولعن ابليس الفلك اللي جاء على جبهته يا
رجل. Saddled by
رجل.
his side, and now the advantage No longer in the hands of GE. The plant not found, and they rotate. What? But Autumn, tag from the early fight, still wins the battle. But Neon has been the danger man. Can be this time. The gamble has to be made, and of course, he heard the snake bite. He thinks now it's the A hit, but soon he'll find out the plant's on the other side.
He's made the realization though. He'll be here maybe a little bit sooner than expected. Autumn might even be caught walking away, and he will! Just as the Viper's Pit blooms, they thought they had more time. A 1v1 to take it home, and Crystal to save the day. It looked like it will be another round when Neon just takes over. A sublime read, but Crystal keeps them in the lead.
What a try it was from the man, currently sitting 10-4. The beating heart of Leviathan on this defensive side, but
والله بغى يفلك على راسه. بعدين ما شاء الله عليه نيون، لعب تشامبر، لعب اومن، لعب برم.
He connected the dots, but he couldn't get the full picture in time. Now 3-5. GE again with a decent lead, and it might just be about to get that little bit better with a very low buy coming in from Leviathan. Viper's Pit.
Yeah.
كل شيء لنيون.
It's safe to say that they believe in the bandit. 4 purchased. A Viper's Pit thrown in. Spike Zine ultimate available. They're going to try and just pad what they have in this round with those ults. Problem once again though. Well, firstly they've lost the opening pick, but also that B site only defended by Neon. And in any other round I've been a believer, but he does only have a pistol this time out. His spams are still causing them issues though. Looking like he might try and get a little bit cheeky around this.
Yeah, I do think that GE are ready for that. Something about the 3 rifles pointed at that choke point gives it away. And there it is. Did they realize? Yes, they did. They saw the elbow. Neon, whether it was paranoia or smoke, he was lining up. Don't get a chance to put it out as King falls. This round looking like it's done.
30 seconds left.
And indeed, unless Spike Zine's got an ace up his sleeve, it will be.
I think there's going to come a time where they have to start trying to deal with Autumn. Like his lurks around the map. Think back to the last round, it was just a general irritation. And even when they knew where he was, it's still causing them mass amount of problems. We saw it in prior rounds where they go for that A push-up to try and clear that lurker out of the side of the map, and then it's not there. That's what GE have done quite well. They've had these all-in rounds, but all together, they're all pushing an angle, and then they run on the other side of the map. And it feels like each time they try and pick the round where he's not going to be there, they're wrong.
Yeah, again, going back to Pearl, that was the kind of vibe we had. It wasn't about the lurks, instead about where the hits were coming through. The fakes from GE were sublime. They've had some great attack sides here. 9-3 possible. That would be a big blow to Leviathan moving to the next half. We haven't seen those signs of the defensive side connecting consistent rounds just yet.
It's just been Neon's B-side hold, and they're going to challenge him once again. This time, though, a showstopper sent through. He's managed to escape. His life has held a lot of value in this map so far.
بس حلو سبيس اللي جابه. فايبر اوبي اللعنه يا.
In the meantime, the spike has gone through, and the attackers wanted to try and push even further forward, not wanting to be trapped in. Even still, though, damage being done. That lurk again. He seems to have an opponent catching him almost every time, but he still wins those fights. Good trades back, though. Make it interesting enough so that Sato has used his ult. King also gets rid of Yudatan. Somehow, this might just be competitive.
Oh, it was nearly favored to Leviathan there. Javi looking to still be alive, and Crystal, well, he's playing a risky game. The swing in, scored, you thought! They went together! They found Javi alone! And, well, I guess he found them! 7-3 now. It looked like Leviathan had a chance, but the light is going dim on that side of the stage.
رايك في ما فهمت سب ما زيادة عشان افهم.
They were tunnel visioned and ring around a Rosie, and instead it was Javi to catch them. His ult now available for the next as well, and you can understand why this second pause is coming in. A 7-5 half, okay, it wouldn't be great considering you won the pistol and second round, but it feels like those last 2 rounds are going to be the coin
والله
based win
سماعاتي مرة
condition
قوية
because if
بس
you go
ترى
in
تو
a
ماتش
9-2
سماعاتي
deficit into this
600
GE
أوم
comp,
ترى
which,
ها
as said, I think has
600
looked better defensively.
أفجر الصوت فيها وما يطلع ازعاج.
I can think of at least 3 rounds so
هذه
far.
حقت استديو بغى ترى.
Autumn's flanks have had huge potential. I can think of at least one more.
عندي لك فكرة يوتيوب يوم كامل باللون الأصفر. الله أكبر الفكرة الفنانة قصرت. أنا أحب الحب يلا حيا. ترى شلبي مو باور. إيش؟ يعني إيش دخل باور في الموضوع؟ وبعدين يوم انك تقول ترى شلبي مو باور، أول شيء أنا ما فهمت العلاقة. زايد هل تقصد إيش؟ يعني ما يمديني يعني تنقيصا مني يعني.
But there is a reason that this guy flexes between this Viper and, you know, like a Phoenix or something. He has that raw individual skill. He's had it for quite a while. There was a reason that teams were willing to take that risk of picking him up in China. It was because of the flair that he brings to the server. But yeah,
يعني باور حقين تحدياته. الله
some of the cases that Lev players should have been hitting those shots.
ايش تقصد باللون الاصفر؟ البس اصفر والعب فينيكس وكذا.
Other than Neon has been.
بعدين يوم كامل قل مقطع.
Surely Patman's not just going to be able to walk all the way through. He's heard the rotation and now he's just waiting. It's a good check though, a very good check.
نغفناه.
Could have been a double with ease.
It could have been even more.
سود الله وجهك. عشان تعرف ان سيج يسود الله وجهك.
The Sage Wall doesn't cover off Heaven the way they wanted to. Leviathan, their best chance here of this A site retake. They've not spotted Autumn, but he won't land his shot either. The trade's out though as Udaton found one, slips back into the site as well. C's being thrown. It's going to delay that push, allows Udaton to get right back here towards Ticken, and they don't think he's around this spot.
يا أخي ده ما يخاف. يقول لك ساتو.
Under his belt gives Leviathan 4.
That's the guy that we were seeing in the last map. That's the guy that's been missing in this one. That is just raw individual brilliance coming out from Sato. Again, it's almost like what we were talking about with Autumn, where this guy is seemingly facing into an angle where someone is waiting for him, and he is just landing every single
تلعب كثير. ملاحظ لا ما لاحظت غيز ما تلعب كثير. فينيكس اللي يلعب.
away from his ultimate as well, and as said, 7-5. Going in with a double duelist.
The most second duelist played Phoenix.
It's just the manner in which this half has gone that has felt a little bit more scary.
Well, yeah, think about even looking at the timeline, what happens if Leviathan don't take the pistol round. We could have seen GE completely run away with this. Remember, it was 2 flawless rounds from Leviathan to start this out.
خلاص زور الحين الدب المعلومة النايمة.
At the last second, Patman.
اليوم 6-7 الله.
And he's got some backup while Autumn walks straight out. The Prowler went past him, flying under the radar, but doesn't strike the death blow. And the trades early on, Leviathan holding on for dear life, but there's a res available. It's going to be put in on the Crystal, but the trades for Leviathan, trying to keep things even. And Spike Scene's done a remarkable job. But despite it, they're going to have to fight back into this A site. TP's going to be denied. Plant found, one away from a showstopper, and utility online for GE. This is not an
وينك
easy
علي
retake.
بعد انت معهم تعال.
So
مود.
annoying because Neon now he's so far away. He was literally on the opposite side of the map. And although his teammate can get through that little bit quicker, he's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Autumn's positioning again. He's just been annoying throughout this map, but he doesn't land the shot. The wall bang from Spikezine. This might just be his round. Facing off against Udaton in that 1v2 clutch. The first, a little bit too easy. Spikezine so far ahead of his teammate and now just holding that showstopper. The last one was clicked by mistake. This one is clicked to buy time, and that time already seeming like it's too far gone. The nade is perfect, and he's there to close it out.
الله لعب في حسبته يا عيال.
Gives GE their 8th round.
8-4 at the halftime. A commanding lead for GE.
يلا اعلان الهاف يا عيال. ويلكم باك. ما فاتك شيء راح عليك الهاف بس. اعلان 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 اعلان. مود يبيله مود. والله سوي ازعجوني مو في محلها.
to form is
يلا.
going to take quite a while.
8-4
Need very
بيستل
few errors.
ليفاتان
Pistol also
اتاك.
It's often talked about as a coin flip. Not really where you
Split.
want to start your comeback, but
Okay.
that's one way to kick it
ها
off. Great pickup.
ليش
That was the aggression.
غريبا باتمان والله.
Thrown in immediately. Batman, he has been playing this controller incredibly aggressively all the way through the map. Autumn now needs to have another high impact play, and even the nade just trying to maybe even force them into his position. He doesn't have a whole lot of support. His teammate is trying to re-aggress it towards B main, wants to try and hold on to some control, but look how passively King is sitting.
والله الوابر اكلت قندره. كريس لازم يفوز الفايت اذا يبغى ينقذ تيمه وخسر الفايت.
The other player. The problem though is that King's won his second fight of the round.
Yeah, looking really solid when it comes to the pistols.
Last player
On Ecos as well, something just activates in Leviathan.
والله
A
كينج شغال.
clean start. We could be on for the thrifty Yudo time. All that stands in their way.
يا ليدتان لا تستهونون فيه
Thrifty no
صدق.
more, but a round win.
يا ما اكلت راوندات.
Well, it seems assured for the attacking. That's a fake flash if ever I've seen one. Doesn't quite work out. It will be put to bed. But
يلا عطى غيز التمت بوينت
He's
وندم عليها.
caught with a nade in hand. That's him done. King with his fourth of the round, and maybe they just wanted to give him the orb.
Yeah, you know, it's not going to be flawless, but I
سؤال ممتاز ليش ما حد منهم لعب كلاسيك؟ يحتاجون يوتل واحد والباقي ايم.
puts him to the top of the board for his side, and honestly, all of these kills were fairly important. Like, he's being surrounded in this moment and manages to just play it perfectly with his positioning. That lifeline has now been picked up for Leviathan, and obviously once again, there's not going to be much, if anything, invested for the defensive side. Far more reliant on their buy rounds. The fact that the winning of a pistol in the last map might have meant we closed this in two, which, I'll be honest, I'm kind of glad didn't happen.
Especially not after that first map. That was basically a first half.
ممكن خذ البي سايد على طول.
Problem will be though, if this
كثرت
series
والله
does
تنشف
slip
بسرعة
from them,
والله.
those pistols are
لا
probably
بعدين
gonna
حطيت
be what
خفيف ترى.
spike planted.
becomes pretty defining. Now for the defense at this stage, the real question is, do you actually try and go for exits? Do you try and do any damage? Or, and it looks like what they're going to do, just hide in the corner and go down to the spike.
ما لك الا تموت من السبايك. هل بيطلعوني ممكن نقدر ناخذ بيك بيكين؟
Take a spare orb a little bit earlier. Spike seem definitely
Oh, it's Sato for sure.
walking forward alongside Sato. Oh, that's a double for him. A chance for a little more and some orbs picked up indeed for Leviathan.
اوكي.
Losses minimal. Again, they're still
Sato باقي
carrying
له
those
كم؟
two rifles forward, which is the name of the game. And King's even
Two volts
going
متوب.
looking for another.
فينيكس بيجي
Looks like
نرف.
he'll find it time dependent. No. Okay. He's backed away.
هذه من
just
كيسي انا
at the
ها.
wrong moment. But
الباتش الجاي.
nonetheless, the climb back for
الالتيميت
Leviathan
بيصير
is
7.
well and truly underway. 2 rounds here off the back of the
والذكرى.
pistol, same as the first half. But this is where things slipped out of their control.
Yeah, the main question I was going to ask is how much are they actually going to put into this round? Because, as you said, there was a lot of light purchases. They didn't have too much in terms of rifles, but that normally means that you can then buy up the rifles going into the next round. So I think, yeah, this is going to be a very strong bonus. If anything, King's best weapon has been the Sheriff. So I would almost put this at a full buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
7 ما ينقصهم مدة
saw that
الالت.
pistol round. Didn't seem to matter what weapon their opponents had in hand.
فالورنت اذا جو ينرفون بالهداوه.
Across the map.
فايبر كم قاعد ينرفونها بالهداوه؟ 13 نرف. سكاي
One of them, paranoia.
11 نرف وهكذا.
This flash could be devastating. It's blind to both players. Let's give it Sato an easy opening and a follow-up with the wall bang. Glorious work from the Phoenix on Leviathan, and the B site secured and a plank coming in on the back of it. This is about as good a start to a bonus like this as you could ever hope for.
Yeah, solid reveal from Blows made that kill come in so much easier. And for the remaining
رايز
three, it's
ليجونها.
become tough.
شعب.
Sato is literally just standing there. He's trying to bait
رايز.
it. He's not. He's walking up instead. You expect
هي
the Phoenix
رايز
to
اللي
come
في الأول.
running into your face, and instead he calls the bluff. And that's the moment where they have to save. Bring the weaponry into the next round. We spoke about it. The
يا
difference
قلبي
between map 1.
عمري انت حياتي انت عسل. هذا رايز. هذا في لعبة لول اسمه رايز. اوكي لا تقول رايز اكتب ريز. اكتب غيز. انا تلخبط اعدادات تقول لي غيز ترى سهله، لونها كلمه صعبه وطويله قلت اوكي امنا. غيز غيز مو بدا فيها اي في الانجليزي. حتى انا زبال بالانجليزي مثلك. ساوي ذي
potentially even up that scoreline from such a massive deficit and already Sato with that opening pick.
ايش الفلاش ذا لنا احنا المتابعين.
All being claimed on the other side. Will at least be something to play.
ما حد سمعك مرة ما حد سمعك. جاري دق عليه قال اي نبدأ بالزك.
Let's listen in to Lev.
O que vai querer fazer? Vai juntar com vocês só. Juntamos vamos pra nós aqui, B? Vou pela manhã com vocês.
Tem uma paranoia, tá? Quer explicar que a gente tá...
Não. Vai ligar a hora e abrir uma meia. Tá. Vai abrir aqui nós dois.
هذا صوت كينج مو على وجهه.
Voltou B agora.
ما قصدي اني يعني بس يعني ما توقعت.
Fade B.
ولا انا ضد المسمى.
Ainda se o cara ataca... Ah, tá B, só trade. Guys,
vamos fazer parede, tá?
AD segura a bang, vem. Guys, temos tempo, tá? Só trade aqui.
شكرا تروك على الاشتراك.
Back to B, that's where the finish is coming in. Leviathan have an easy time. GE are now having to make a bit of a blind read.
شاتك ما فيديو المقاطية اصلع. اوه تعال خليني ارجع لك المود.
Wrong side of the map. So Lev find themselves an easy entry.
عندك المود. رجع. طب ليش مو طالع عليك الصح؟ طلع حطه. خله واضح لنا. Welcome back.
As far as this round goes for Leviathan, I love the ideas. They take opening fight on.
الله يسلمك يا باغي.
Set to that mid control and the patience on display, knowing they're up against a bit of a mix buy and not wanting to be caught off by the numbers.
ايش رايك في الديزرت؟ لا ليش نتكلم في الديزرت؟ خلينا نخش في الديب. المعسل والدخان والنكتين والانواع والنسبه ونوقف البطوله. ايش رايك؟ يلا خلي الديزرت. ايش تلعب خفاف انت يا ولد؟ طرح المواضيع في اوقات زي الفل عندك.
This is an incredibly young team. Other than King, who's been around the block at least a little bit. You're talking about in a half. I wouldn't blame you if you
عادي عمر. بس حبيت يعني ارد عليك بس كيف رد ما كان قاسي. حسيت انه حبي يعني. جاك مطفي النور اول مره اكتب عندي. طيب تكلم عن الديزرت. طيب مصمم الديزرت انا. طيب اتكلم عن جبهتك اشرح لنا مقاسها. يلا تفتح مواضيع حتى انا افتح مواضيع. تفضل طال عمرك. اول مره تكتب عندي بدون ذكر اسماء. INML7 تفضل. 4 في 6 مساحه غرفه ذي يا مقلط. 4 في 6 الحمد لله على العافيه. الحمد لله تمام. يعطيك العافيه على المشاركه. تايم اوت. شوف العلم. يا اللهم لك الحمد. تقرب صنادحي الله يرحم شيبانك. شتان ما بين لا تجيني ولا اجيك. انت طرحت موضوع انا طرحت موضوع. مرجع له عندك والله العظيم مكتوب انمود. لما اروح له يكتب انمود يعني شيل المود منه معناته عنده. والله كاتب لي احط انمود. ها انمود مود. شوف الآن مو مداري بس أعطيته مود. كيف علي بشيل المود.
3 players there, and moments later, the site is open for business. A save is being called, and well, Tom, you just seconds ago pointed out where the credits were at for Leviathan. 5.9K on the lowest player. By the way, everyone else was up a lot higher, closer to that 7 mark. Well, now I think they're going to be in a bit of a stronger spot. If they survive with all 5 players,
against والله السيفات الله السيفات.
But it felt like Leviathan had the upper hand, and now they've used it to choke slam GE. Although they're only 1 round ahead, They're miles ahead in this
مو
half.
يعني.
Oh, that's so rough. Like, the fact that you even have the right read of where they're going to be and you just get slaughtered. Like, that was less than 10 seconds. That round ended basically immediately. And okay, they'll at least get to hold on to a couple of the weapons. It's not quite going to be max cash across the entirety of the board, which is a silver lining. Really isn't a silver lining. But that's insanity. And that has got to bludgeon the confidence of GE. You're in the right place at the right time, but everything went wrong.
Yeah, as far as silver linings go, I think, well, guys, at least they can't buy 3 times in a row. Probably isn't what you want to be hearing on map 3.
يلا معكم رايز.
Yeah, I suppose they probably can anyways. That's one hell of a
فل
start. He
دبليو
is just running
فل
around
دبليو
Spikesy.
نو تحشيم. والله نيون استلت اللعب بس خلي عنكم بس الدلع الزايد. الله انهت اللعب. الله انهت اللعب. سلايدها تمام ما لمس. باقي تذبح اذا سوت سلايد وفرت عليك بالفانتوم ولا بالبكي ولا بالجج. نرفوا وهي تسوي جمب. خلاص لا تسوي جمب. يبغى يطير. يبغى يطلع برا الماء يبغى يحلق. خلاص اقعد بالقاع وطير. تحت.
But things have certainly changed in this half. The final half of the series sees Leviathan hit another power level.
لا تنرف اكثر. لا الان احس انها محكوره في مابات معينه صراحه مو بقول. صدق تلعب في كل المابات.
It just runs straight up mid and killed 2 players. They know
كلوز تصلح لونج تصلح.
being subtle about it. And then it's just a domino effect.
Keep in mind that's a team that won
وهذا ما كانوا خلص
rounds in the first half and got bodied.
فريق تعال حب يدي. ما ادي يدك زي ناس العالم وانت اشتغلت امنا والكاميرا مان اللي يحط الصورة عليك.
2 rounds to the good. The economy stacked in their favor and their opponents on a very low buy. It's even going to start with a fake to the B side. They want to drag the rotates, but B stand in position. Stand ready to fight. Sheriffs have spotted at least 2 more.
والله حلو يعني اشتغلوا صح عليكم. ما توفقوا في الايبوش.
But the spikes on the floor now.
And this is a round that G desperately need to convert. Your opponents have been winning and they've been winning cleanly. An upset round, a spanner in the works.
نيون سكيل اي اوكي.
Is imperative at this stage. If there's any way back into the map, it has to be here, it has to be now.
بس متعبة للي متقنها فهمت علي. بس خف ثقلها بعد النغف اللي جاها لكن ستلت اللعب اذا طاحت في يد واحد بروب محترف وفي تيم بلاي وفي سبورت لها ستل والله سوي شفت يوم قلتت سوت.
But there come the trades, thick and fast, running it down, only Neon standing in their way. Still hasn't been able to retrieve that spike.
30 seconds left.
And G are not giving anything away. They know how important this round is.
They knew he was going to be spamming that as well. Hoping someone was inside the smoke, but they'll give him the spike. You have 15 seconds. Where are you going to go? Plant needs to be found soon. 10 seconds till we can't plant anymore. And well, I think at this stage, he's given up on the round. Going to take down as many as he can, but another orb gifted to Autumn, and a MasterCard Thrifty keeps GE in this game.
Yeah, as said, imperative. They needed something to break that 6-round momentum. They needed a hero to step up to the plate, and they got a couple. Both crystals.
سؤالك غريب جدا، ايش افضل سكين فانتوم؟
And in fact, it was almost the entirety of the
كيف مين
squad
افضل
finding a
فانتوم
kill with
للإيم؟
those sheriffs. They came out of absolutely nowhere, but that could just be enough to bring them back from the haze that they seem to be in. Still, Leviathan have the lead, and in case we hadn't hammered it home enough, they have enough money to buy.
ثريفتي لما تفوز راوند وبايك اقل من الانمي تيم وغالبا يكون ايكو ولا بونس وهم طالعين في الباي وتفوزه يسمى ثريفتي. فلولس لما تفوزون راوند وما حد فيكم مات. تيم ايس لما تفوزون راوند وكل واحد فيكم ذابح واحد.
Even walking through that in the first place, but now he's got the angle to hold on to. Orb about to fade though. It's time to fall back.
Has to leave.
الكلتش انك تكلتش الراوند تجيبه وكان عندك نمبر ادفانتج. يعني اخر واحد انت عايش 1v1 1v2 1v3 تجيب كلتش تجيب الراوند.
Adult's been used on the other side. It drags the eyes of the opponents, and that was the goal. It gives them some middle control. Still, Harvey has some utility to play with. If he can get one and throw the slow, instead he's gone. Spike Scene wins that fight. Now the players within the B side are being surrounded, but it seems like they've realized. Back to the other side of the map they go, but can Yudatan be their demon, be the Reaper on the back of the A side?
They saw so many players on that B side. They might not expect him to be tucked in like this. We've seen it from him before, but now with 12 seconds left, one strike from Yudatan. Could have saved the day, but they'll still get the spike. Still move to the side, and King cuts off the rotates. Pac-Man 1 against 4. The spike already planted, and he'll only get his first. 11 locked in for Leviathan. The lead with a bit more leeway to it.
Good mid-rounding again. The information fed through to the IGL to make that last-second decision, and also
الله يحفظك يستر عليك.
where they swing
موفق.
onto Yudatan. He didn't really have a
عليكم
chance of getting
السلام ورحمة
one there.
مع
He had
السلامة.
to commit to one of the angles. He knew there was a player behind him. Maybe he faces the other way, he gets both, but you could never know that. That's such a gamble. And that second timeout now called for Global Esports.
بعد ما موت موتة غبية. مش موتة غبية، ما له دخل الولد. 1v4. اللهم امين يا باغي. وياك يا رب ومن يسمع.
And it's their coaching staff's last chance in regulation.
Now Leviathan have very much woken up. The lead is
تشابه سامي. لا أنا بناديك أو باغي. طيب.
Of this series so far. Well and truly within reach. They come into this round as well. Ults to play with. True on both sides. You have that pit.
يستهبل يا VRWLM. ذي زور يستهبل. ببند بعد شوي ما عليك.
What is the idea behind this? Where's Autumn going?
I think just because
لا تقول لا لا.
game of smoke and mirrors in
روق هنتابع الجيم.
just cut through that smoke with a knife. And that knife is a sniper rifle. The problem is, just look at the ruse that's almost being sold. It's been obliterated with the judge. They nerfed those, didn't they? I thought that wasn't allowed anymore. That operator gone. But this wasn't even the main game plan. This was almost just a ruse to give them space elsewhere. They're going to have to try and jump down together, but instead he's jumping towards them. 2 kills. Another halfway done, and pressure onto Pac-Man. He doesn't know how much control's already been taken by Leviathan.
والله ليفيتان قاعد يلعبون صح.
Another solid round from them.
النرفس موجودة صح؟ الجمب هم يعرفوا الجمب في الشتجنز يا عيال الجمب. خلاص اليوم بعد مسوي جمب. ونعرفوا سرعته يسوي جمب، نعرفوا أي شيء في الهواء، ما اختلفنا. طيب. هم مسوي سلايد كيف أسوي؟ كسر قبعة عشان يلف عليها. هي في القاع.
Going in towards that little hallway, you're never making it out of there alive. Even if you had the numbers, Leviathan on 12, guaranteed at this point. And considering how we started this out, Tom, it really does feel like the shoes on the other foot now.
السيف رقم 20.
Pushing and pulling the map.
متأكد أنا أحس إنه 43. البلاي أوفس يوم 12 تبدأ. النهائي متى؟
That call is almost certainly, you're going to do that, maybe you just get Vents control, maybe you die and we get mid. Like, you're trying to pull people away so that we can get that control for free. Instead, he gets 2 and, well, almost a third kill.
2.5 man,
yeah. And the crazy thing is, we might call that like, oh, you throw a spanner in the works. Yeah. He threw a grenade in the works. He basically blew up the whole round for GE. Before they even got started. Now it's a jumble sale. A sheriff, that operator saved, a judge in the pit.
لا يوم 21 النهائي.
This is a nightmare to try and
يوم 21 ايش صار فيه؟ جاكم قاعد الدنيا.
Paranoia for Pac-Man is going to be used to try to delay them. You can already see the pace picked up by Leviathan. And they've managed to find the trade. Neon lays his life down, but the reward is clear. Favor for Leviathan now in what could be the final round. Viper's Pit already put into play. A res online, but, well, that player's not quite reachable. And Leviathan aren't even going to let them close to the side.
الغيابات الإلكترونية يمكن.
Pushing deep into the spawn.
عمرك 21 شباب ما شاء الله.
So much ground held. It's something that they just can't allow to happen. The stinger.
والله ما ادري كيف تفكر انت.
Not the weapon for this round, but I was going to say it might be worth it in that scenario. They managed to cross, but 2 players into the spawn. It's going to be an issue. They need to get rid of them, and it's all just falling apart. The red's available, it's being used, but there's another player just waiting round the corner. And from the depths of defeat, Leviathan will climb back into the game.
طب الجيم بكره ايش؟ هلا انت تحدد؟ يلا الحين القرعه يا عيال.
Hey everybody, so we're going to be doing the round 2.
وين ذيك اللي تصير قرعه؟
There's a couple things to keep in mind. For us, regional matchups are permitted. Also, repeat matchups aren't allowed, but that's impossible for round 2. How the draw is going to work today is we're going to do the first 1-0, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll do the 0-1s, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The takes right here is the teams that lose in round 2 as 0-1 will be eliminated. The teams that win as 1-0 will be advancing to playoffs.
It's basically like mini double elimination.
Yes, absolutely.
All right then. So I guess you need to put your hands into the balls on the.
باختصار ان اللي بيسحب اللي فازوا ضد بعض يعني 4 أيام أو 8 4 أيام فازوا 4 أيام خسروا 4 أيام اللي فازوا بيقابلون بعض والخسرانين بيقابلون بعض واضح؟ يعني فيتاليتي من ممكن يقابل ليفاتان انرجي الثالث مين؟ فوت يعني ممكن يكون ريجن ماتش عادي يقابل فوت بس اتمنى ما يقابل فوت يا انرجي انرجي لليفاتان تكفى ولي الجيم يا ناس.
I can already tell that's a banger matchup.
واو.
Oh, it's not a matchup. Whoever plays NRG is going to be a banger matchup. It's not going to be against Vitality.
أنا توقعت فيتاليتي راح 2-0. لا. قالوا زق طيب. والله العظيم أنا قال 1 2 3 4 صح؟ هذا ضد فيتاليتي. فوت كله زق.
And we're allowed to see Vitality play foot now, Nick.
Yep.
Regional matchups are not banned in round 2 like they were in round 1. That's going to be a grudge match. And now, those of you who've just been watching...
أنا مستماجة إنرجي ضد ليفاتان وكيف يعكس الريجنز يا زبالين.
It is, of course. Leviathan! Leviathan, what do we think? Do you want to see them play NRG? We're used to this matchup in America, of course. Okay. We're out of our 1-0 balls.
تحت مين الخسرانين؟
Nick, please do the honors and draw out your first ball from the
أتمنى الصينيين ما يقابلون بعض. ضد التمثال بسرعة يطلعون برا. أتمنى. صراحة ضياعة وقت. دي زبال. على الأقل إكسل جي قدم مستوى.
Let's get them on the board.
يلا طلع لي تكفى إكسل جي عشان يجي تحت.
And next up, our second matchup. From the 0-1 groups. Remember, they're not playing DRG. This is a brand new matchup in our lower Swiss bracket. Crack that fate open, Nick. It is Global Esports. And I know the fans are going to be turning out for this one, aren't you? So close for Global Esports today. I need to see more of those Udo-Tan clutches. I need those injected into my eyes again, please. Okay, Nick, who are DRG going to be playing?
لا تحط فريق الصين.
Inside the ball, we have DRG. It's another regional matchup, everyone.
يلا على الأقل واحد منهم بيطلع.
On the board. Which might mean that in the last ball is yet another regional matchup. Let's see. You didn't even swizzle that, Nick. I can't believe it. There you go.
كله regional matchup.
Full sense. Playing Global Esports, which you know what? I am so excited for, Nick, because we get to see this match.
أول اللي غابني إن فريق الصيني بيتأهل. لا مو مضمون يتأهل صح. بالسيفيك، تشاينا، أمريكا، يوروب. طبعا هذا مو جدول النهائي. إن فيتاليتي ضد فت.